Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes.
Look, it's a cock on a tin.
We are live now.
I know, that's why I said it.
Yep.
Cock in a tin?
A cockerel. A cock. In a love heart on a tin of Polish meat.
And for any of you not familiar with her, this is Phoebe Rose.
Woo!
Who seems
Blowing
to have
everybody's
had,
ears out.
way too much caffeine or something.
She's taking
Welcome to the
Dream
Phoebe J. Rose
Girl
cooking stream.
to a whole new level.
Yeah, if you have not seen Phoebe's show, Transition Stories, basically
You should all go watch season 2, episode 1.
Yep.
All go watch season 2, episode 1.
Yeah, Phoebe borrowed Neil's format and is doing the same thing for transgender people that Neil has been doing for atheists.
Which I think is awesome.
Yep.
But you know why you should all go and watch season 2, episode 1 and season 1, episode 4?
Well, I know season 2, episode 1.
Because season 1, episode 4 is this person here.
Oh, that Parkway? You interviewed a Parkway?
Yep.
Didn't know Parkways could be
Gary, I
trans.
did.
Yeah.
So this is what we're cooking, everybody. This is what we're cooking. We're cooking this.
Cooking with Phoebe and sewing with Kitty. Like, I mean, double trouble.
Sorry, Perps, if I'm, invading your stream. I shall shut up now.
It's okay. It's good energy to get this started.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Ah.
I just realized I didn't put on a shirt. Like, I switched into a sports bra. And, I mean, I'm covered, so it's fine. And I got my sweater on, but,
So,
you know.
For
It's
those of you who
YouTube
are
safe.
following along, with the cooking, we are doing pasta today. Simple pasta, and we're going to add a tin of mackerel, and we're going to add a tin of chopped tomatoes to it. I'm also going to grate up some cheese, and we're going to add that into the pasta as well. This is a simple meal because, quite frankly, tonight I'm feeling a bit lazy. I want to be on this stream. I don't want to be cooking. I haven't defrosted any steak. As you will know, last time I cooked on stream, I did cook a nice, rump steak. And it did come across very, very well. So we shall leave that as that one from last time. But yes.
What type of cheese?
Just English cheddar.
So you're going to cut the cheese?
We're going to grate the cheese. Could somebody please let the basement dweller in? Oh, hey!
Ahoy!
Hello,
Hey.
basement dweller.
Hello,
Well,
Phoebe.
now
Long
Mage isn't
time
the
no
only
see.
dude on stream, so, I
We're
mean,
cooking.
hey.
We're cooking.
The only dude on stream. What?
Well, I said now Mage isn't the only dude on stream.
Okay. Cool. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So, like,
Oh,
there's
I
an
misheard.
estrogen
Sorry.
ocean up in this bitch.
Sorry, Kitty. I misheard you.
No, it's all good. My voice is a little bit off. I've got a cold.
Mm.
No worries. You'd have been proud of us today, Kitty. We had an excellent picket line.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. And the guys know
Are you in
where.
Scotland?
No, I'm on the south coast.
Oh, dear. You were one of the train people.
Post people.
Oh, well. I was going to say that you were doing a rubbish job, but I can't make that joke because you're in England.
There you go, then.
I caught a small piece of proletariat news this morning.
Oh,
It's just a headline, but it's an exciting headline. Labor unions in the United States have sustained a 24% increase in approval
That's amazing.
Good. That's
No,
good.
that's
But
24%.
here's the question that I have to
That's
ask.
24% of their current acceptability, not 24%
Yeah.
globally. Okay.
But here's the
It's
next question. Here's the next question I have to ask. Has that translated into a drop in membership numbers?
No, it
I
should
couldn't talk
increase.
for. I can't talk for American Union, so I wouldn't know.
Do you know what the only reason why I'm a member of a union?
Why?
I'm not a member of a union for political reasons. I'm a member of a union to save my own backside from an employer.
Well, that's fair. That's fair enough. I mean, and I think everyone, just on that basis alone, everyone should join a union.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, well, unfortunately, unions in the U.S. are not what they should be.
No,
They've got
well, they
One
got
problem
the
with
to do.
US unions, the biggest problem with US unions is that they're a closed shop almost.
No, the biggest
No,
problem
they're
with
not.
U.S. unions.
I said almost.
No, the biggest
And-
problem
and-
with U.S. unions is that they are not being run by members of the union. They farm them out to someone else to run them, and they just
Mm.
become another level of management because they have no vested interest in the workers' security.
But the other thing that
Yeah,
I
I
have
don't-
is that the biggest problem that I have is compulsory union dues charged to people who don't want to be members.
Well, hold on. Is closed? Can you ask you guys something? Is closed shop an actual thing in the United States? Because it's not been in the UK for 30 years.
Well,
So is that an
That's
actual
laws
thing?
vary state by state. In some states,
Okay.
they do have those laws.
Yeah, because that was
Union
something
members. Yeah, that Thatcher abolished. Thatcher abolished
Yeah.
closed shop. And in my opinion, unions only function if people want to join them.
Well, Phoebe, this is going to be one of those things where you and I might find a strange level of agreement on this because, I'm a passionate trade unionist, but I oppose the idea of a closed shop. Although I think everybody should join a union, I think the whole thing when we forced people into closed shops is I think it made a lot of their and they had to join the union. I think it made a lot of union leaders very, very lazy in how they represented their members.
Absolutely.
So,
It gave them carte blanche to do whatever they bloody well wanted.
yeah. And now
And
they've got, now
and
they've got to kind of work. Now they kind of forced to work for their members a bit more now.
And the
So,
other
yeah,
thing that I think you and I might therefore find a bit of agreement on is the abolition of open hall balloting. Show of hand balloting.
I've got mixed feelings on it.
Show of hall balloting is wrong, in my opinion. Show of hand balloting is wrong
Yeah, they should be secret
Why
ballots.
do you think that? Yeah.
because you can't have undue influence on individual members because then otherwise it's no longer being run by the members, it's being run by those who are strong arming.
Yeah,
Well, it depends on. I mean, whenever I was a uni rep and I did do a show of hands ballot, it was more of a prelude to getting a closed postal ballot,
I understand that.
and it was to
but
see who was in favour. That was more. Now, yeah, the whole idea of everyone's hands up, who's striking, who's not. Yeah, probably wasn't the greatest way to do it. At the same time, now we've gone so far the other way that we can't react quick enough when we need to react, and that's the problem.
I disagree with you there slightly, but I do agree with you there slightly as well.
You may want to pin one of those or posted.
I think that
Yep.
unions should be allowed a set number of wildcat strikes in a set period. You should be allowed a set number of wildcat strikes in a set period. But if you're continuously saying, "Well, we're going to strike now, we're going to wildcat strike now, we're going to wildcat strike now," that has to be stopped.
No,
But you should be allowed a set number of wildcat strikes.
No. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, wildcat strikes are the nuclear option, essentially.
Yes, but wildcat strikes are also the only option for some industries, such as prison officers.
Yeah, I mean, we've had. It's always been ironic that I've been like the militant in my place. The 2 times we've had a wildcat strike, it's been the days I've never not been there. And there was a wildcat strike in 2020 in my workplace.
What industry?
And I Royal Mail.
Oh, you're a Royal Mail employee. So are you CWU?
Yeah, CWU. Yeah.
So for those of you who are following along, Royal Mail is the equivalent of the United States Postal Service.
Let me put myself on camera just so you know.
CWU.
Yeah. You're just going to put me full screen for a sec, Purple, just so but I'm not making the point clear enough. You know?
No.
Wrong person.
Not.
Wrong guy.
Hey, look, it's a new union recruit.
CW Communication Workers Union. Very proud to be a part of that union.
Whereas I'm a member of Unison.
Okay. Oh, well, we've all got problems.
Because I'm local government.
Yeah, they do represent a lot of local government, Unison.
I'm local government.
I mean, the older I get, the more post-capitalist I get, and the more I'm eat the rich.
Here's the problem.
Abolish
Capitalism
corporations, work our own co-op.
Capitalism isn't the problem. Cronyism is the problem.
Unregulated, unfettered capitalism is the problem. Like, I would be fine.
Kitty, I'm gonna
That's not the problem. The free market is not your enemy. The problem is the free market is not your enemy. The free market is why StreamYard exists. The free market is why YouTube exists.
Yeah, we're not saying that all capitalism is wrong. We're saying that completely unregulated capitalism is wrong.
What I have a problem with is crony capitalism and government ineffective regulation of it. That is what I have a problem with.
Yeah. Well, then we're pretty close to the same.
Bailing out things like unregulated is wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, the unregulated or ineffective regulation is the problem.
See, I have no problem.
As an underlying thing is not the issue.
Yeah, but when a company is found guilty of a violation and they're fined like $10,000 and they just pay the fine and shrug it off because in the process of doing whatever they got fined for, they made $3 billion.
My thing is I don't mind, a regulated free market for like consumer goods, things like if you want to let the free market decide whether you want to be Android or iPhone, by all means, I don't care. As long as neither of them are going to blow up and like there's safety regulations, cool, But when it comes down to it, there, especially in the United States, are far too many areas where there's a profit motive on people's lives. We don't have universal health care. We have private prisons, where nonviolent drug offenders get locked up for years and they are essentially encouraged to keep more people in prison that don't belong there just so they can get a fucking check from the government.
They also have big businesses that prevent competition from
and we still have legal slavery in this country if you're incarcerated. If you are in prison, you are allowed to be a slave.
And the other thing is that America has such a real problem is it allows monopolies to exist by law.
Yeah, our antitrust laws are never enforced.
We have worse than monopolies. We have oligopolies.
That too.
No. You actually there's. I wouldn't normally bring this up, but there is a famous episode of South Park where everyone's complaining about the local cable television company, and effectively they're the only company in town. Because they've lobbied and lobbied and lobbied and lobbied and lobbied to have everyone else shut out of town.
No, it's worse than that. Like I said, these companies will agree to this kind of stuff so they can actually do this. So it's an oligopoly.
No, I'm talking about local monopolies in so say for example, where my fiance lives in the great city of Detroit, she can have one company supply her internet and that's it.
Yep, I have the same thing here. There
but
is only
that's
one
because the
company
companies
that can
get
supply
together and
high-speed internet.
are agreeing to do that.
they are agreeing to do. It's the
That's
companies.
not an oligopoly, that's a cartel.
But
yeah, that
they
is an
are
Yeah.
getting together and they're doing that. They're like, all right, I want this area, you want that area, then they'll renegotiate. For fuck's sake, Joe Manchin, his daughter ran a pharmaceutical company, and when a rival company was going to come out with basically their version of an EpiPen, there's a paper trail to this, emailed them saying, no, back burner that, and then we can raise the price of the EpiPen and we'll cut you in on the extra profits so you don't bring yours to market.
See, that's what's wrong. It's not capitalism, that's called corruption.
And the corruption is because of
No, the
capitalism-
corruption is
Well,
not
no,
because of the capitalism. The corruption is because of self-interest and narcissism.
isn't that basically what comes along with the corrupt capitalism?
No, absolutely not. If
No,
we
I
didn't
think
have
you need
capitalism, we'd
I-
still be serfs. We'd still have
I think
legal
you need-
serfdom in the UK. We still have serfdom in the UK without
Look,
capitalism.
I think even the most dyed-in-the-wool Marxist would recognise that capitalism is a very dynamic system, and and I think it's important to recognise that. I think there are absolute problems. We talk about regulation of it. And I've had this argument with Amber a few times. Critical Cupcake. I've had a few arguments with her over this one, but because Amber's like a big proponent of people like David Ricardo and Adam Smith and so on, or I'm a little bit more towards the Karl Marx of this world and Michael Roberts and so on. The basic problem with capitalism as a system is it is a system that is inherently prone to crisis. Because of the
And all systems are like that.
But capitalism
All
above
systems are like
any
that.
above any other system in human history has a tendency to crisis. Now,
Well, communism wasn't a tendency to crisis.
Now, hold on. Just let me finish, Phoebe, for goodness sake. Now, the flip side of that is, you also have to recognise it does have an ability to get itself out of crises and so on. The boom slump cycle is inherent in the system. The general tendency, the rate of profit to fall, is an inherent problem in the system. The problem of overproduction is inherent in that system. Capitalism is the only system in the all history of all kind of human systems of government, whether it be feudalism, or it be the sort of slave-based economies, like say the Roman Empire or whatever. Capitalism is the only system in human history where people have gone without and people have gone hungry because there is too much. Not because there's not enough, because there is too much.
Not to mention
That is what is so fucked up about it.
The only reason we in the West can live as comfortably, like, we're not getting paid enough. Like, our wages are not enough to sustain us, comfortably, even though they should be, But the only reason that we can even try to be comfortable is because of slave wages in the global South.
You can't, just to be clear, you can't have a pure capitalist system, or you can't have a pure socialist system either. You have to, I think you need to have a mix of the two, really, to be really functional.
That is correct.
There is one person who is missing from this conversation who would make a very good addition to this conversation.
Karl Marx?
Swede! Where is Swede when you need them?
Probably drinking some Irish. Arr, arr.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, well, Swede's just not been as active as he had been in days past.
But just think of it this way, like, it's already hard with inflation. It's already hard to afford things, you know, that you need, and prices keep going up. But
Here's a
if
question for you.
if every item that we bought was, you know, the person was paid, you know, Western wages, nobody would be able to afford anything. It is literally slave wages in the global south. Like, for us to prosper, the global south has to suffer.
You can't
Here's
keep
the next question.
you can't keep doing infinite inflation like what we have with capitalism.
Or infinite growth.
Here's the next question. Here's the next question, though.
Can I let you know what a blouse cost Macy's in the 1970s? Because my grandfather owned a factory and sold clothing
Is
to
this price
Macy's.
adjusted for inflation?
No, this was 1970s.
We were just saying
$12
inflation.
a dozen. $12 a dozen, and he was paying people $4 an hour.
Oh, we're just saying the infinite inflation was a problem with the system.
But do you agree, or do you disagree, that there has been more innovation as a result of free markets than there would have been without the free markets?
I honestly
Yeah,
need drives innovation.
Yes and no.
I refer you back to what I said a few minutes ago about even the most dyed-in-the-wool Marxists would recognize the dynamism of capitalism as a system. You know, yes, you know, you know, and I think it'd be intellectually dishonest to not, you know, to say that capitalism doesn't have dynamism as part of the system. It doesn't have, you know, innovation is not part of that system. It would be intellectually dishonest to say that's not the case.
Unregulated free market can stifle innovation.
Absolutely. And think of it this way: so many
I
things.
have to ask everybody. What was
so
the original point of this stream?
Anything,
Matchmaking.
really.
Oh,
Yeah,
fair
well,
enough.
yeah, we
I just
never
saw the
got
title
around-
and I had no idea what was going on, and I decided
Yeah, we
free
never
with
got
it. I
around
didn't know
to
if there
the
was an
title
actual-
topic. I wasn't expecting us to get all political, but you know, it was
But
a good
here's the-
conversation.
Well,
going.
shall we wrap this up and go back to purple, and then, you know, go back to the
Well,
title topic?
Let Kitty say what she was going to say, and then we'll
That's
skip
what I
to
say.
another topic.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing: like, a lot of things that we have, like memory foam mattresses, like those were invented by NASA. That wasn't private corporations breeding innovation. It was public funds breeding innovation. Most
Kitty,
pharmaceutical
can I interrupt
drugs.
for a minute?
Okay.
DB Rose, could you please put your icon on while you're eating?
Sorry.
Most pharmaceutical drugs are also
And most pharmaceutical drugs are not researched and developed by pharmaceutical
Thank you.
companies. They are done by privately funded universities with government grants, which is why it's doubly fucked up that we pay so much for drugs here in the United States, because it is our tax dollars that help to fund the R&D of these drugs, and then the pharmaceutical companies just buy the patents. So it is not just the free market that leads to innovation. The free market can stifle just as much innovation as it can create. And I believe that necessity is the main driver of innovation.
Oh, look how many mom and pop stores that Walmart has pushed out. That's another good example.
Necessity is necessity is the mother of invention, but its necessity is not the mother of marketing. If they don't want to market it, they won't. And they can manipulate the market based on what products they do or do not choose to bring out.
Yeah, now I always view something, I just think I may touch on this just for a moment, just because of just kind of because of something Kitty said, and I thought that, and yes, you know, you've had certain things that have been developed by the state or so on, rather than, you know, in private industry. I think there's a very big tendency that's I'm afraid still exists on the left today, and to associate all private ownership as capitalism and like state ownership as something else. And I think that's a real fallacious way of looking at the system.
Well, yeah, I know in the US, most people don't know what the definitions are.
No, and I mean, but this has been an argument going on for 150 years now. Have you right? Okay, I'm going to ask a quick question. A couple of questions actually. First of all, have any of you heard this old saying that all property is theft?
All what?
All
All
property is
property.
theft.
I've heard it, just like I've heard
Okay.
taxation is theft, which I think is just
Okay.
as asinine.
Okay. Does anybody know who said all property is theft?
No, I don't know the
No.
origin of it.
Not off the top of my head.
Well, I'm going to say, if you're going to say Karl Marx, you'd be wrong. It was a guy called Pierre-Joseph Proudhon, and he was a contemporary of Karl Marx. And I suppose Proudhon, if you want to look at it in a modern sense, you'd think more of an anarchist kind of guy. And he very much wrote this. He wrote this pamphlet, and I think it was 1845, which is where he coined this phrase. It was called The Philosophy of Poverty. And Proudhon's, basic argument with this was that private property equals capitalism. Karl Marx wrote a rebuttal to this, and this is actually why Marx and Proudhon had a big falling out over this. Karl Marx wrote a bit of a rebuttal to this and said that the nature of property itself doesn't really tell you enough about the system. And that if you look back to the things like the ancient Greeks to Romans, and then into feudalism, it was private property in all of them. Now you can't say those ancient societies, feudalism and capitalism, are all the same thing. It just would be fallacious to say that. So the nature of property doesn't tell you enough about the system. Now I think the point, unfortunately, Karl Marx didn't necessarily go beyond, because he said, that he in his response to Proudhon, he said that private property is a juridical abstraction, and I think, unfortunately, the point Karl Marx didn't get to or didn't go beyond, which I think would have saved a lot of problems in the long run, is that state-owned property can be capitalistic as well. I mean, I've always characterized the Soviet Union as a state capitalist system. It might have covered itself in the red flag or whatever, but in every other, real means of other than private property, every other thing that you could call about it that was capitalistic was there. And all of the societies that based themselves on the Soviet Union, it was, I would say, it was state capitalism. And I think, and it's one of the big reasons why I hate tankies, because almost 100 years later, we're still on the left, we're still dealing with the destruction Stalinism did to the left. So long rant over.
Capitalism, it works best when it is allowed to be free but regulated in a socialist framework. See, you all
I
agree.
think I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Shall we get back to the title of this stream?
Yeah, I don't know what the topic of this stream
Honestly,
is, but we've got way off.
This is how Purple streams usually go. Usually at least 10 minutes is for what the day of, the stream is. But, Phoebe kicked us off with a bang at the very beginning. So, yeah, but honestly, Purple streams
it is
usually
not the
devolve
first time that we have lost the topic before we went live.
And nothing like a good bang.
Right?
So what's today's topic
Well,
there, Perp?
Come on, Perp.
Somebody to bang.
Introduce the topic.
Today is National Matchmaker Day, which is basically just about, have you ever set somebody else up with a new partner, or have you ever had anybody set you up on a blind date or something?
All right. I've had people try to set me up on blind dates and stuff. I've got to a certain point in my life, anybody who tries that, I'm just going to tell them to go away. I'm not interested. So,
Well, there are exceptions.
TikTok.
I have hooked up 3 different couples, but I don't send them into a blind date situation. I invite them both to the same party.
Yeah.
And if they
Yeah,
hit it
no,
off,
That's a better
then
way
it's
to
up
do
to
it.
them.
Can I just say, Jenny, and I won't say who, but you had this idea that you were going to set me up with someone. So, and
No,
I won't say who on stream.
No, I don't recall that.
Well, one of my most notable.
I'm not going to say who. I'll
exceptions-
DM who. You to be fair, Jenny, I think you meant it as a joke, but
That seems
But-
likely.
you did say that to me about someone who's very, very well known in the community. So
Hey, Jenny is just
Oh,
as good as any
JK?
Brit I've ever met at taking the piss out of people. So,
Mm.
you know.
When I tried to hook you up with JK,
no,
I mean
no,
Robert.
no. Can I just say the person you were saying you wanted to hook me up with was like as far away from JK as you could possibly get.
Also, I'm going to toss this in here because Joanne's name was brought up. She is the reverse Stephen King. And the reason why is because Stephen King was writing so many books that his publisher's like, nah, we're going to devalue your books. So he put them out under a pseudonym and they still became bestsellers. JK puts out a book under a pseudonym and has to leak that it's actually her for it to actually sell. So.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, at least Stephen King, when he did use his Richard Bachman identity, didn't sort of have to do that.
What you're saying is she was a one-hit wonder.
Basically, and like her like Harry Potter stuff is actually really gross. Like
I didn't mind the Casual Vacancy. I thought that was an okay book. And I think a lot of people were kind of surprised, like, because I mean, this is really weird going back now. A few years ago, J.K. was a bit of a darling of the left, for a little while.
I've always hated that woman.
And then
She's
she
always
opened
been a
her
nasty
mouth.
piece of work.
and then kind of like, yeah,
The way she treated the father of her children is absolutely disgusting.
Hey, you guys,
Mm.
I gotta move my location. I'll be off for a while.
Okay.
okay, hurry back.
I'm
But
gonna
be safe.
Jenny, I'm gonna DM you something, all right? So in a minute, so.
Phoebe, I'm going to need all of your links.
My
Because
link?
Yeah, for
Mine?
some weird reason, they're not in the newest update of the list I've got.
Oh, well,
I know
everybody,
that they were there in the previous version.
Well, everybody, you should all subscribe to youtube.com/Phoebe J Rose. You should all do that, and you should do that either now on a second screen or as soon as this stream finishes after you've liked, shared, and subscribed this stream.
Agreed. Oh,
See,
so
and that's
I will.
why her channel is growing and mine isn't, because she knows how to do self-promotion.
Also, the ego knows how to do self-promotion better than anything else I have ever encountered on this medium.
So speaking of growth, I logged into my TikTok this morning and I was like, I'll just make a TikTok and have some fun. I gained a few hundred followers in the last 24 hours. I went from 850 to over 1,000. I think I'm at like
Because you went
1,200 now. No,
That
I
happened on my
wasn't naked
Insta, that did. That
either.
happened on my Insta, that did. So
Well, you're naked
don't-
from the stream last night.
Yeah, I was
don't
topless
like
on stream.
Instagram. I don't particularly like Instagram, and I very rarely use it. But I logged in after being off it for a couple of weeks, and I had gone from having less than 100 followers to having nearly 800 followers in 3 weeks. I didn't do anything.
Well, if people will donate to our car fund, I'll do the stream topless myself.
Hell yeah. And I already said, like I said it on the stream last night and I 1,000% meant it. If anybody wants to see a picture of me topless. If you make $1,000 donation, I will send you topless pics of me because I want to get this car for Purple and Slothgurl.
Oh, honey, that's worth a full free nude.
Please be
Fair.
aware that this is not the
Don't sell
promotion of
yourself
anything
cheap,
which
man.
is against the terms and service of YouTube. Please be aware of
If-
that.
If I wasn't involved in the strike right now and needed the money, Kitty, you know, darn.
You won't hear me part of the union until the
Yeah.
day dies. End. Copyright claim not available.
Yeah. I was going to say to you, Kitty, because I was going to say when I jumped to say we had this awesome picket line this morning where we just got, and the guys from this workshop.
I thought we were done talking with economy and labor and unions and that
We're
stuff.
not.
We're supposed to talk topic.
No,
I didn't bring it up, by the way, Jenny. It wasn't me. Don't blame me.
No, this is my fault. But I was going to say we had this great line, and the guys in this workshop next door to us, all bought us out cups of tea this morning. So when we were all freezing on early, like 4 a.m. in the morning, they always bought us out these cups of tea. And later on in the day, somebody on our picket line brought these like boxes of donuts down or whatever, and there was a box left over, so we went next door to the guys at Magna who made us all the cups of tea earlier and gave them a box of donuts. It's just good little mutual support thing, you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
By the way, I should mention our new location since we've never been at this location before.
Oh, hold on just a second, and I will highlight you.
By the way, Jenny, I did send you a DM about who it was you joked you were going to set me up with.
Okay. Twitter?
Yeah, on Twitter DMs, but I think it's best you don't say it out loud on stream.
I won't. Don't worry about it. I'm trans. Remember, we're the best secret keepers on earth. This is Lincoln Street, South Lincoln Street in Houston, Minnesota. It happens to be the street where I live.
Oh, wow.
And you can see that shiny roof over to the right. It didn't used to be shiny because it was in the shade of this gigantic tree. I think it was a walnut tree.
Do you
but
appreciate
it came
the
down
irony?
in the tornado.
Do you appreciate the irony after declaring that you're the best secret keeper that you have just doxed yourself?
So what? I'm not
It's
worried
keeping
about
other people's secrets.
I know it just to be these sentences right next to each other.
Look, if I dox myself, one of two things: somebody's going to come and shoot me, or somebody's going to come and want to have sex. Either one, it's okay.
Jenny.
You're calculating the odds maybe in your favor on this one.
May the odds always be in your favor.
No, and like I absolutely I trust Jenny. Like, she can keep a secret. Like when it's not her secret to tell. Like if it's her secret, it's your right to tell your own secrets.
Oh yeah, no, I'm certainly not worried. She's got all the information to dox us as well.
Ooh, don't get on Jenny's bad side.
Oh, you mean like how you actually are living in Chicago and not Minneapolis?
I wish.
Yeah. No. Fuck
No.
no. I never want to live in Chicago.
I'm pretty sure
Just for the
that you'll
museums
have better health care where you're at and
But to
not
be able
in
to go to the
Illinois.
museums every day if we want.
Okay, the museums would be cool. It's the part of getting from the house to the museum that is so fucked up I didn't want to deal with it.
They have the L's.
No, Chicago is just too peoply. It's too congested, it's smelly, it's dirty. I don't like any city that is that congested.
Well, you didn't mind Minneapolis. But it's not smelly.
Minneapolis
dirty.
is like, it's like a third the size of Chicago and everything's a lot more spread out. You know,
like
you-
here,
Oh.
Orlando is pretty spread out. Like
Yeah.
it's only really crowded if you go to like the theme parks. Other than that, I mean, traffic can be a bitch, you know, around 5 o'clock because a lot of people live outside of Orlando where it's cheaper and then they just commute to work.
Yep.
So going into Orlando in the morning or leaving it in the evening is not fun. But overall, I mean,
Yeah.
especially where I live in Orlando, it doesn't really feel like a big city. I've got all the amenities of a big city. I'm 20 minutes away from Universal, which is nice, but it's a quiet part of it because, like, there's the Orlando and then, like, the greater Orlando area, which are other cities that are, you know, really like more of the suburbs of Orlando.
That was cute.
Sorry.
That was the cutest hiccup.
Sorry.
I love it so much.
The problem with the cities getting too congested is when they start getting all the skyscrapers, that they are literally stacking people on top of each other, 50, 100 stories tall, and then there's no possible way that the roads can handle that kind of traffic for the people to get in and out.
They actually did a pretty decent job with downtown Orlando. I mean, one, it's not as big of an area. Like Orlando itself is huge, but downtown Orlando is relatively small. There's lots of skyscrapers though, but they have like multiple like ways. Like there's one-way streets which kind of help with some of the congestion. There's really good public transit, you know, in the downtown area, and there's also lots of like overpasses and underpasses and ways to get onto I-4 right there. So getting in and out of downtown is fairly easy. I actually used to work at a movie theater in downtown Orlando, and it wasn't too bad, you know, like
the Slothgurl, have you ever actually driven on the Chicago expressways?
No, I've ridden on the expressway, but I've never
Right.
driven the expressway.
Right, you didn't have to drive them. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, that one time we went from where you were born to the museums was hairy.
it reminds me of
My worst time in Chicago traffic was once it was about midnight, and I had to drive all the way through from Indiana all the way through up to Milwaukee.
Okay,
And it was
anytime
bumper to bumper all the
Oof.
way. It was the most frustrating, irritating. God damn it, who do these people think they are and how they drive?
or if you
experiences
miss
I've
your
ever had.
turn and you have to go through Savannah or Atlanta instead of being able to go around it, it's
Yep.
fucking nightmare.
I used to live
anytime
in
that I've
Georgia.
had to drive to anything east of Illinois, I have scheduled the entire trip around making sure that I pass through Chicago between midnight and 4 a.m. I don't want to ever be on those expressways in daylight hours.
There's a road, like an intersection up in Massachusetts where I'm from originally, and I'm trying to remember. I think it was Lincoln Square, but I could be wrong. It is basically just like 6 lanes that just kind of like all go into one area. So it's kind of a close your eyes, say a prayer to your God of choice, and go for it. Like there's no traffic light.
5,000 incher.
Yeah, my fiance knew that I didn't like to drive, but when we came back for her to meet my family, when we got to Gary, Indiana, I said I was going to take over, and she was so confused by that until we got on the Chicago expressways, because I knew that if you didn't know which lane you needed to be in 2 miles before you actually saw a sign for it, you were never going to get there.
That's
And
one
she
thing.
freaked out.
That's
She's
one thing
driven
that's
in New
really
York,
great.
and she freaked out with me driving through the Chicago expressways.
That's one thing that's very, very, very cool about GPS is that if you got a proper system,
Well,
like Google Maps does a good idea. Apple Maps does a good
yeah, this was
job.
pre-cell phone.
Is
and
it'll tell you
pre-GPS.
what lane you got to be in to make what turn. And that's kind of nice. It saved me a lot of hassles.
Yeah, I don't, I get lost easily. I'm horrible with directions, so GPS has been a lifesaver to me. Especially like when we moved here and I was just learning a new city.
I remember when I was a kid, we used to take like family road trips, like family vacations up and down the East Coast, Tennessee, North Carolina, what have you. And we had driven up, and I don't remember where it was, but my dad missed the exit, and there was not another exit for 5 miles. And then, so he had to go 5 miles down and then 5 miles back. And then he had to go 10 miles in the other direction to get off an exit. And then, my mom said something or what. And he turned to look at her and missed the exit a second time.
Could you
He was
imagine
not
living
happy.
Could you imagine living in New Orleans and getting caught up in traffic and taking the causeway by accident and having to go 30 miles out of your way and then 30 miles back?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, there have been times that I am just getting on I-4 to go, back home from up in Daytona Beach where my family lives after my son's therapy. And I've just gotten onto the highway in Daytona, and I get a call from my mom. He left his baby blankie here. And I'm like, motherfucker. So then I have to go and drive for like over 10 miles before I can actually turn around, because there's nowhere to turn around. There's Daytona, and then the next closest is New Smyrna, and it's like 10 or 12 miles away. So it adds an extra fucking 30 something miles to my trip if that happens. It sucks.
Well, and I am going to brave it at least one more time, because Slothgurl, being faced with kind of limited time left, is making a list of things that she has wanted to
I'm
do.
making a bucket list.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
one of the things is to go back to the Chicago museums for a weekend.
I like to call it a bucket list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like we don't have millions of dollars, so we can't take a trip to Italy or something, but we're going to do as much of it as we can manage.
Hey, Chicago has a Little Italy.
Hey, a YOLO
And we're
list.
going to Little Italy for lunch. They're the best authentic Italian food in the city. The Italian Village is amazing.
Okay, I'll have to map it and see where that is relative to the museums.
Who's going to volunteer to call Make-A-Wish and find out if they do things for adults?
They don't.
They don't ever?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Make-A-Wish is for kids only.
The closest we get to Italian where I live is we got a Domino's. That's about it.
The closest
that's
we get
not
to
a
Italian where I live is the Mafia.
Oh, and I promise anybody who donates $500 will get a fully clothed picture of me. Trust
From the
me, I'm
Italian
doing you a
Mafia?
favor.
Or from the Italian Mafia. Oh dear.
Actually,
Well, the closest I get to good Italian food is upstairs in Slothgurl's apartment.
my dad's stepdad, like my grandmother's second husband, was actually connected to the Italian mafia.
Were they a Don?
I honestly don't know. Like, he died, before I was born, so I have no idea.
I need somebody who's directly related to Al Capone.
Jenny Lynn's in the Paulin Square. Compromising pictures of your cat. Okay.
Well, Kitty's in Florida, so it's probably one of the Trafficante. So I guess.
But Aunt, sure, you can't sell pussy on the internet.
Selling cats on the internet is very difficult.
Well, that's pussy on the internet.
That's what I said. Selling cats on the internet is very difficult.
Well,
I was thinking of an offer.
OnlyFans.
I was thinking of making an offer for the fundraiser. I want to get some feedback from other people on it. For $1,000, I will do photographs of my transgender crotch.
Okay.
I know there are
Lovely
people
human
that-
beings. Lovely human
Yeah.
beings. I've been on here for 50 minutes, and it's been some of the strangest 50 minutes of my life. And
Hey,
friends,
sex sells.
that's saying something.
Well, that's why I'm seeking
Friends,
opinions.
that's saying
I
something.
know some people are curious about that kind of thing, and it's rude to ask.
Yeah.
So, there could be a
Actually,
market
Jenny,
for
yes,
that.
You know, that's more something that you could sell on FetLife, though. But
just so
OnlyFans
that
might be
everyone is
better.
aware, I'm not leaving purely because I'm feeling slightly strange in this conversation. I am recording an episode for an organization with some other people at 1 o'clock UK time, so I need to go and get some sleep before that. Lovely human beings, it's been a pleasure, and I shall see you all anon.
It's good to always see you, Phoebe.
See you later, Phoebe.
Night, Phoebe.
Been too long. Been too long.
She's a trip, man. Like,
Oh yeah,
she's fun to chat with.
yeah,
she is. She and I have our disagreements, but yeah, we're kind of. But it was kind of cool for us that the one time I had her on my channel because I mean, Phoebe's been very honest about her, should we say, former political affiliations and how she's come away from that.
Well, was she a
we had a
Tory?
good further to the
arch
right.
conservative.
yeah. Conservative. Let's just leave it at that.
No, yeah, I was just say she was quite far to the right. Let's put it that. But it's just say that it was interesting. Like, my conversation with her was more along the lines of two former adversaries having a discussion together. And it was very interesting in that respect.
I can imagine. I mean, then again,
I
most
would
people I
like
talk
to
to
know
are to the
what-
right of me.
I would like to know what triggered her switch. I think that would be fascinating.
I'm sure
I think
she'll
there's a lot
discuss it if you ask her.
I think she's. I mean, to be fair, I think she's. To be fair to her, I think she's discussed it quite a lot in her early days on YouTube, and I appreciate if she's kind of done with her past and wants to move on. I totally appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay. Get that.
Well, I figure,
So-
I mean, you can ask her in private, you know, and
Yeah,
she obviously
she's
reserves the right to
been-
say no, but
Yeah. Just
yeah,
send her a note on
but-
Twitter.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, she's never been sort of shy about sort of saying, but she talks an awful lot about her background when she first came onto the scene. But I don't think she's talked about a lot about it recently. And if it's because if it's something she doesn't want to talk about anymore and she wants to move on and say other things, then
of course, yeah, it would be a no pressure
Yeah.
thing. It'd just be a ask
yeah,
and
and I
yes
think
or
it's
no, and
you
be done
know.
with it.
But I just think she's got such a cool story, really, from coming from where she did come from to where she is. I think it's fantastic.
I like how she reminds me a bit of me in being like kind of an open book, you know, where it's like
Yeah.
I freely share my views and opinions with anybody who asks. Like, the only thing that I keep close to my chest is my name. My legal name, just because if you were to Google it, I'm the only person I believe on the planet with that name. So, you know, like there's some weirdos on the internet that I keep close to the vest. But there are some people here in this stream that know it. And, you know, because they just do, you know. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I don't talk about just because,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
there's some
I'm
weirdos
pretty.
out
I
there.
mean, yeah. I mean, I get that. Yeah. I mean, I think very early on, I just was like, yeah, I just put my real name out there, and it's out there. Hey, you know, you know, I've never personally, I've never shied away from that. But
You're
I
also
can
a man
totally
on the internet, not a
understand-
woman.
yeah, I could also understand that I've got a certain privilege in certain respects where it's a lot easier for me to do that and not have any blowback from that. But I totally understand anyone who kind of wants to keep their own personal name private and so on. So
Yeah, and the fact is I actually do go by Kitty in my everyday life, and then I just picked a random last name for the Facebook that I made for doing online stuff. So
yeah.
I don't know that. The only thing with Phoebe is she has so much energy that I actually find it exhausting just to watch her.
Hi, Sandy.
Phoebe's a trip. I enjoy talking to her.
She's a good dog. Don't mind me for the rustling papers. I'm looking through a clothing catalog.
Ah.
Finding anything good?
Well, there's this spiked collar I'm kind of interested in.
Dog, the link is posted at the top of the page.
What kind of magazine is this anyway?
I got lucky. I found a really good pair of jeans at the thrift store the other day.
They make her ass look fabulous.
Okay, the one thing about women's jeans, aside from the
Pockets.
fact, aside from the pocket thing, these actually even have somewhat pockets. They're not huge, but I can at least like put my driver's license and credit card in it. But why do all the women's jeans all have to be tight around the legs? Why is it so hard to find a boot cut jean in a women's cut?
Because skinny jeans were the style, and they probably still are in a lot of places.
Yeah, but don't you once in a while want to wear them with some kind of boots or some shoes that you need that cuff to be open a little bit?
Then you get a different pair of jeans.
That's what I mean. I've been looking for a different pair of jeans. It's like nobody sells them. Oh, well.
Well, see, you're
keep
getting
looking.
everybody's leftovers. Now they're doing boot cut. For the people wanting to get away from the
Yeah,
skinny
well,
jeans.
without a car, I can't go to many stores, so I haven't been able to check too many other places.
Very funny, Ox.
Oh, Sandy, sorry to hear you've been having to deal with all that on your own. That's actually Slothgurl last month had her leg in a walking cast.
Ox, no, it's not the undie section of any catalog.
Yeah, I don't think the undie section had the spiked collars. I think for that you need to go to the pet supplies.
No, that was in the accessories.
Yeah. Where they sold the women's massage aids.
Yeah, Sandy, I'm sorry there isn't somebody there to at least help you with some of that housework so you don't have to be on it so much.
Oh, you broke it yesterday. Oh.
Yeah, if that's a fresh break and you've already got to be up and around on it, that's not good.
Hope they gave you better painkillers than they gave me. I was surprised yesterday when I went in for chemo, and they asked me if I was in pain, and I said yeah, and they gave me Norcos with no question.
Well, once you've got a terminal cancer diagnosis, they don't tend to care about you getting hooked on opiates as much anymore.
Yeah. I mean, gee, either pain relief or get hooked. What's the big fucking deal?
I mean, the options are, basically the bad things are like addiction, but if you don't have a lot of time left, that doesn't really matter. Or accidental overdose, but same diff, if you're on your way out anyway, like doctors don't care as much.
Right. And that's what tells me how serious this is they didn't even question the fact that I wanted Norcos. I actually wanted the one up from Norco. I can't remember what it is. Not Percocet, but the other one.
Oxycodone?
Yes. And I'm sure I could ask for Oxycodone later. Because right now, Norco is basically just Tylenol and codeine. They're T3s.
Like oxycodone's generally, under normal circumstances, sort of a pharmaceutical I'd sort of always look for alternatives for, but if your situation or whatever, I'd kind of be like, well, what you got to lose at this point, Oh, God, I hate to sound so bloody morbid, but
Oh no, morbid's good.
My daughter
I-
was on.
I'm at total reality with the situation that I'm in.
Look, if I was in your situation, I think I would have a very morbid sense of humor about the whole thing as well. But
Well, I
You know.
did.
Well-
I bought a couple of T-shirts to wear to chemo. One was I don't have enough middle fingers for cancer.
Yeah, Slothgurl has always had a kind of macabre sense of humor to begin with.
And
so,
that's why I
Yeah.
like her, because her sense of humor vibes with mine.
Yep.
And also, you know, they don't call it gallows humor for nothing.
That's the word I was looking for.
yeah,
I
kinda,
like
yeah,
dark
I'm a bit.
gallows macabre humor.
I'm a bit.
like-
I'm a bit sick like that. I do like a bit of like gallows humor.
Also
Sorry.
self-deprecating humor. It's like, you know, they'll be like, yeah, I hope you didn't expect me to get my crippled ass up in that thing. Nah, that ain't happening. You know, that kind of thing. You know, like,
Yeah.
Because I'm British, like self-deprecating humor is kind of our thing.
it's kind of your
Yeah.
love language. That and taking the piss out
Yeah.
of people.
Yeah, the only thing better than deprecating oneself is deprecating
Deprecating
somebody
another.
else.
Yeah. Your
Yeah.
best mate. It's but not just anybody, but it's got to be your best mate. That's the one you say
Yeah,
the most brutal
absolutely.
shit for. Your ride or die bitch is the one that you just eviscerate.
Well,
Well, I
the
try
one I
not to
said.
be too hard on purple.
Well, Kitty, the one I said about my best friend at his wedding when I was his best man is that I said to him that he's come to look on me over the years as the big brother he never had. And over the years, I've come to look on him as a little brother I never wanted.
Never wanted. Yeah. That's great. I
Well,
love
purple's
that.
kind of the big sister that I always wanted.
I mean, we were discussing it last night after the stream for a few minutes, and Purple is technically biologically old enough to be my grandmother. Like, her and her daughter would have had to have them young. We're talking like teen pregnancies, but
Yeah.
it was possible.
well, yeah, I said the oldest of the girls I raised is actually older than Kitty.
So, you know, and I adore Purple, and like I am planning to do anything I can to help her out, you know?
Me too.
Well, I mean, it's helping you too, so, you know, and you need to focus on like your health and trying to get as much quality time as you can,
yeah.
you know? Like, because at this
Well-
point it's quality, not quantity. So,
Yeah.
you know, make the most of it and don't stress
Well-
about things like this. Like that, leave that to us. That's what our community is for.
Yeah.
Well, it is the 14% chance of survival for 5 years, but from what I've been reading in my support groups, is a lot of people are living longer than that. So I
Okay,
think
so
they
it may
kinda
be outdated
underestimated.
statistics. They may have improved the treatment.
Which
Yeah, I
is
think
That's
it's
good
better
news.
treatments. But still, the odds still aren't great.
Yeah,
It's
and
less than
unfortunately,
50%.
yeah, if yours had been detected earlier, it would be better odds.
That's usually how
was
it
already,
goes.
yeah, it was already very well progressed by the time they determined it actually was cancerous.
Yeah, once it starts spreading to other non like localized organs, like if it spreads from like your kidney to your colon, well, those are like right next to each other, so
Yeah,
that's
that's-
not as big of a deal. But if it spreads from, you know, your
The
uterus to
the
your
lungs.
lungs, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. What's the
Like,
time?
And
that's
then
the worst
it's
thing.
anywhere from a 13 to 15% chance, but I think that's been a little underrated.
And we're all going to be hoping for the best, sending
Oh, yeah.
all of the good vibes.
And I'm gonna live as long as I possibly can. I'm never giving up.
Good.
Yeah. Well, I told Slothgurl that, you know, I'm actually banking on 10 to 20 years. And in case I missed, I'm going to be studying Weekend at Bernie's.
What we need to do is we just need to get like we should program like an AI or something and have it listen to all of your vocal samplings from all of your streams, and then we can just make you like a rudimentary AI. Like we've got your avatar, and then we get your voice. You know, we can make you functionally immortal.
There we go.
Well, I did tell Diana we were working on the brain in the jar for her.
Yeah, just don't put her next to
we
Nixon. That's cruel.
yeah, no,
Futurama reference.
that'd be
Just don't put her on the
Futurama reference,
pickles
but
next
yeah.
to the shelf.
Yeah,
Put her
I
next
think
to Abby.
we'll-
Abby Normal.
essentially
She'll fit right in.
we want the coffee with lavender things going with her head in the jar like years afterwards, you know. So
Slothgurl hawking. Very
Please
funny.
tell me
dog.
someone got that reference that I made.
Which one?
I
I'm
actually
sorry.
didn't hear it because
Okay.
multiple people were talking.
No, it's fine. I said no. Instead, put her next to the brain in the jar of Abby. Abby Normal. She'll fit right in.
okay.
I don't get that one.
Young Frankenstein.
Young
Yeah.
Oh,
Frankenstein.
Oh,
Frankenstein. Yes. But no, that is what I love.
Frankenstein
Gene
is
Wilder.
Rocky Horror.
I fucking love.
I thought
Gene Wilder
Frankenfurter
so
was Rocky.
much.
Oh, you're right.
You know,
Frankenfurter
I
I'm
still,
wrong.
I
Rocky
still,
Horror, yeah.
every once in a while, I will have dreams, and Marty Feldman will be in them, and that particular shot of him that he does at the Abby Normal bit is stuck in my brain.
It's so good. Like it is such a good movie. And vol in the head.
I'm gonna have
it was
to.
Mel Brooks' best.
I'm gonna have to jump off in like 2 or 3 minutes. I've
Okay.
kind of got. Should we
Go
say?
do your postie job.
No, I'm done with the job for the day, but it's kind of, should we say, strike committee kind of online meeting. So, Kitty, there's some, because I only bring this up because Kitty and I have talked a bit, offline about like what's going on with like dispute and whatever, and what's going on in the UK. I just realised I'm gonna have to send you something, Kitty. I'm gonna have to send you some clips of Mich Lynch, who's the leader of the Railway Workers Union in the UK. You'd love this guy.
Okay.
He's been on loads of different interviews like the last couple of months, and they've all been like really, like people like Piers Morgan and Kay Burley have all been really, really hostile to him.
Piers Morgan is a bell end. He's a
Oh,
twat.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Slag.
Mich Lynch has been chewing these guys up and spitting them out before breakfast
Oh, that's
for
amazing.
months, and I'm gonna have to send you some clips of Mich Lynch. You will love him. He is absolutely fantastic.
Like I will always side with, the working class and the working poor and the poor. Like my sympathies lie with those at the bottom being essentially used and abused by those at the top. Like I very much am a eat the rich kind of socialist.
Well, I'll tell you what happened with him and Piers Morgan. Okay, this quickly. That Piers Morgan. This is about the level of journalism Piers Morgan is capable of. He decided to look at Mich Lynch's Facebook profile picture, and that's just the argument. And Mich Lynch had this picture of a character called the Hood from a show called Thunderbirds, in a puppet show, like in the 60s, and the Hood was kind of like this, like the villain in this, and he's bald-headed, had big eyebrows. He basically, Mich Lynch, Mich Lynch looks a bit like him. So it was an internal joke about Mich Lynch and his mates. And Piers Morgan was saying, "Are you trying to say that you're some evil genius trying to take the, trying to take the system down?" And Mich Lynch is like, "Dude, I came on here to talk about the issues or whatever. This is what you want to bring up,
I saw that clip. It was brilliant.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. After that interview was finished, Mich Lynch decided to go and change his Facebook profile. He says, "I'm doing this just for Piers Morgan," and he posted it. He made his profile picture a picture of Piers Morgan with his arms around Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah.
And as a side note to politics, Mikhail Gorbachev died.
Yeah.
And I actually met him. I shook his hand once.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he was on a visit to St. Paul to meet the governor, and he did a bit of a walkabout. And I happened to be in front,
good Lord!
and I shook my hand.
That That was quite a famous visit. That one, this one to Minnesota, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
He's got. It's a bit long to get to. Gorbachev, I think, has got a very complicated legacy for me. So, yeah, he's a bit of a I mean, it's ironic that he is a guy that.
Yep.
Essentially came into power and desperately trying to save the USSR. And ironically, the reforms he put in probably ended up speeding up the demise of the USSR. And it's really weird in later years, like sometimes he was a real critic of Vladimir Putin, but on other times but on other times though, he kind of supported Putin when he annexed Crimea and so on. So it was like he's got a bit of a complicated legacy as Gorbachev. So
I'm actually a Russian spy, Ox.
Yeah, I found it strange when I saw that he died in Moscow because he'd been in Paris for years because he was kind of persona non grata in Russia for such a long time.
Yeah, I thought he had been more or less exiled.
Yeah, obviously he came back in his last few months or whatever, but he died in Moscow. But he'd been living in Paris for like 20 years because he's pretty much persona non grata in Russia.
Yeah, living in exile.
He was persona non grata for a bunch of years because he tried to bring like freedom to Russia, and they've never had a free culture. And
he didn't really.
Them out.
He didn't really, like I said, when he came to power, his whole thing was he was desperately trying to save the Soviet state. I mean, Gorbachev was a Stalinist. Let's make no bones about that. He was an old school Stalinist, but he's maybe a little more pragmatic than some of the others that before him, like Brezhnev and Khrushchev. So that I think Gorbachev insisted on seeing, shall we say, the real figures of the economy in Russia, and then and not the sort of where some of the other leaders were happy to sort of like look at the propaganda stuff that made everything look great. Gorbachev was very wanted to sort of see the real figures, and then when he saw what he saw, he was like, "Yikes, we're in trouble here." And it was more that he started the peace talks or whatever because he just knew Russia could not afford this arms race anymore. But he was desperately trying to save the Soviet, the system of the USSR. That was what he saw his role as. Ironically, his reforms actually hastened the downfall of the USSR.
Well, kind of like the Great Famine in China. It's like you're trying to like do good for the people, and it ends up backfiring spectacularly, and millions die.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea of communism on paper, in so far as like everybody is taken care of, everybody's contributing, it makes sense on paper, but the problem is,
in practice, it doesn't quite work out so well.
Yeah, well, it's mostly because it hasn't.
Everybody nowadays is saying, "Oh, communism." You can't cherry pick what you want from communism. You're either communist.
I have the analysis on it, but it's too long to get into right now. But I said something earlier about we have lived the left as the biggest scourge on the left for almost 100 years now has been Stalinism. And not just over what Stalin did in Russia, but the effect that had on the left internationally. We are still suffering with the effects of that shit to this day. It's a long topic to get into, and more time than I've got right now. But
but a big part of why the left has suffered from that is because the right has weaponized it.
Yeah, where they equate any type of socialism, even though we already have some socialism in the United States, like Medicare, Social Security, disability, like we already do have some socialist programs, but people don't think of it that way.
If I recall correctly, social democracy was something that Karl Marx was against.
But you couldn't tell that to a conservative.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Jenny, you might actually be able to. I heard a while back that it was either like
Anyway,
oil.
I have to go. So
Okay,
I'll
honey.
see you guys later. Okay. Right.
Bye, love. It was
Okay,
either
bye,
like
Jess.
an oil company or a car company or something like that. That they were buying patents for like more fuel efficient engines and like burying them.
Yeah,
I
that's
heard
one of
about
those
that.
urban myths. It never happened. It never happened. Period. It's an urban myth.
Well, I know you would know. That's why I'm asking.
Yep. It absolutely. Well, I'm saying it very firmly, so everybody who hears it knows it.
Yeah, you hear
It's
that.
absolute bullshit.
You hear that go around every couple of years that there's a car that got 100 miles to the gallon. and
Well, I
some
wasn't
car
saying
company
something
is
quite
burying
that
it.
high. I was, I hadn't
Yeah.
heard quite that high, but
Well,
just that there were better
If
improvements
the
that they
manufacturers
buried.
really did run into something like that, they would be all over it in a minute, especially because only one company would have been approached, and they would have an exclusive on an absolutely radical engine design that saves everybody huge money in gas and pollution.
Yep.
Why would they choose to get rid of it? They would make billions off of it. So
I mean, I guess it would depend on if it were an automotive company or an oil company, because if it were an oil or gas company, that would not be a good incentive for them. Like, less efficient cars are better for their bottom line.
actually, what's better for their bottom line is the fact that they would be using less gas, and they would be able to extend out the period of time where we are using fossil fuels, and they would still make the same profit off each gallon.
Yeah, but they tend to think much more short term. Like, they could be investing now into green energy, but they're just worried about the next quarter. They're not worried about the next 25 years.
Well, actually, I disagree with that also. The Shell is one example of the oil companies, did their review of climate change and stuff like that back in the 70s. In fact, there were climate change studies that were done back at the turn of the century of the 1900s. And they said that global warming is going to exist at some point, and it's going to be tragic. And here we are.
Still done nothing.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They haven't really done anything. They're still, using the gas instead of.
That's not the oil company's fault. That's not the manufacturer's fault. That's the people's and the company's faults for not changing over from fossil fuels to electric and other things.
No, because Shell could have been investing in green energy. They could have been investing in fuel alternatives.
Other people have done that. There's solar all over the place. You can get it cheaper than oil right now. You can get air or wind turbines cheaper than you can oil. And the power companies are doing their best to introduce that stuff. Okay, automotive is a big part of the carbon problem, but it is not the majority part. Okay, your smoky little factories putting out shit off their other 100-foot smokestacks are the one that are doing the damage.
Yep.
And jet planes up in the atmosphere, putting it out there directly to the upper atmosphere.
All of the
all the
consumer
carbon
use.
dioxide.
All of the consumer use makes up at most 16% of the problem with carbon emissions. Most of it is production. It's major factories.
The amount of trees that we've lost in the Amazon forest, in the Indonesian forests, in the North American forests is absolutely tragic, and is a huge bit of what to do with or what's the problem with our pollution. And now we're getting into the natural gas. One of the things that always happens, because it's part of natural gas, is methane. When they drill a natural gas well, the first thing they hit is methane, and they just let it go into the atmosphere.
Transportation made up 27% into 2020's greenhouse gas emissions.
Yeah. And methane is significantly worse than carbon dioxide as a greenhouse gas.
Electric power made up 25%, industry made 24%, commercial and residential 13%, and agriculture 11%.
Yeah, and everybody laughed at Jerry Rubin about, not Jerry, well, whatever his name was, I don't care, when he was talking about cow farts back in the early days of environmental concern, that everybody thought he was crazy. Well, now we find out that methane from those farms is a significant issue.
Mm-hmm.
So it would seem the transportation is one of the bigger causes.
Well, yeah, transportation, but that's not,
You
part
have
of
to
the
address all of them.
transportation is also industrial, and like they were saying about airplanes.
Yeah, transportation isn't just people in their cars. It's also transporting food and goods from
Yeah,
the
but
slave wage global south to the
part of
west.
the reason we haven't made any progress with the carbon emissions is because for the last 50 years, industries have managed to tell the average consumer that this is your fault and you can fix it and we don't have to. That the industry has been ducking out on it and been, running all sorts of PR campaigns that trying to tell the people that, if you recycle your water bottles and if you drive, a little bit less each week, then we won't have this problem anymore.
It's
and
basically
while those little things can
scapegoating.
help, me driving my car a little bit less is not going to make nearly as much difference as putting some proper emission control on the power plant that's burning coal.
No, but you always have to think about things like that in terms of not just you, but in terms of, let's say, 200 million people driving a little less each day. Now you're talking about something.
Yeah,
So,
I'm saying it can help, but there needs to be more focus on the factories, and instead the government's gone the opposite direction. That they've been, pulling back some of the EPA restrictions. They've been giving a lot of waivers to a lot of industries.
well,
And now
one
this
of the
conservative
other
Supreme
issues is
Court.
that Americans are not willing to spend their own personal money to generate solar electricity on the roof of their house, or if they're in rural area and can put up some kind of windmill. I mean, a basic windmill that you see in those old time windmills, something that size, more sophisticated, but something that size will can generate like 10,000 kilowatts.
Yeah, but solar is not the way to go anymore, because now the solar panels are only meant to last 25 years. So now everybody that went on a big solar panel rush on their houses, now we have to deal with how are we going to get rid of the waste product.
Yeah, the solar and the wind do run into some problems in the production and the disposal at the end of their lifespans.
Everything does. Nothing we do is free. Nothing.
No.
Okay. But the problem with the solar panels is not going to kill us like carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is now.
No, part of the problem with the solar panels is how much carbon is produced manufacturing them.
I don't care how much is produced. How much carbon dioxide is put into the air when you burn fossil fuel.
Well, they're
Remember,
burning.
if you put up solar, then you get
panels.
to stop doing something else that's putting out the bad stuff. Okay, so if they have to throw 100 at a solar and you're burning 100 a year at home, fine. You spend the 100 on the solar, because now you're going to cut out all those 10 years of other hundreds.
But also disposal causes heavy metal problems in the soil.
Yeah, well,
that depends on how you dispose of them.
There is no safe way to dispose of them, unfortunately.
We don't know that.
Okay, they don't currently have any effective way to dispose of them. And most of that has to do with it being, like so many things, of it not being cost efficient to recycle things.
And cost efficiency is a dream. It is a myth.
Yep.
It's only as cost efficient as your greed wants it to be. And besides, if you have to replace a solar panel, big deal. You have to replace your furnace periodically too.
But a furnace can last you 50 years if you treat it right.
No furnace is going to last 50 years nowadays. No way. some of those old coal burners did and are still out there running, but converted to oil. But no modern thing that they're building nowadays is going to last 50 years. They're too good at planned obsolescence.
Yeah. And on a quick side note, Dick Dawson, you said your Einstein is awesome. Purple's is awesomer. He got the Ben Franklin with the kite.
That's what I was trying to get to, but nobody ever gave me a chance to talk about that.
From
my birthday, Slothgurl got me the Ben Franklin action figure.
And planned obsolescence, another point against capitalism.
So does he glow at night or spark when you get him near metal or something?
No, it actually comes with a kite, and the kite has a key hanging from it, though.
He comes with a kite with a little key on the string. So, it's cool. One of these days I would like to know what a glass harmonica sounds like.
Yeah.
Few people realize Ben Franklin actually invented a musical instrument.
Yeah, the turning glass things. There's several working copies of that.
Yeah, I know they exist.
And that's another trip I'd love to do, is go to the Smithsonian, but that's a little out of our reach too.
Well, that's always been on my bucket list. To spend a week just going through the Smithsonian Institute.
I wouldn't have the energy.
Because it would take at least a full week just to get through it.
I got to go through it, but I was only 10 years old at the time, so I couldn't appreciate it at all.
When I was in 8th grade, we got to do a school field trip to Washington, D.C., but we had to do the entire Smithsonian Museum in one day. And even at that time, it was like 8 buildings. Now it's like 10 or 12 buildings.
Yeah, so they kind of just rushed you through everything. You didn't get to stop and see what you wanted to see.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to really, read the stuff and absorb the history involved.
Which is the idea of a trip. I mean, duh. Oh, I broke the chat. Sorry.
What? No.
Seems we have found some ways of recycling some types of solar panels.
Damn, I was hoping to stay on the museums.
Oh, go back to the museums.
Well, my biggest ones, I want to go to the science and industry, and I want to go to the shed. I can see the fishes.
Yeah, so.
Which is really ironic, because you're in Chicago with the mafia. You can't swim with the fishes.
Yeah, well, once we get the car, we'll try to save up a bit of money. And hopefully next year then we can, go and spend a weekend in Chicago to see the museums.
Try to find a Subaru.
Actually, never mind. Go ahead. A Subaru, huh?
That's my personal choice, but everybody's different.
Yeah.
We basically have to have whatever his brother can come up with that's reliable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
I mean, if we had a choice, a Subaru Outback is awesome, but
it's the preferred vehicle of lesbians.
Well, you qualify.
I had a Subaru Legacy wagon for about 10 years. I was reluctant to part with that one, but again, I'm not good at fixing cars, so.
That boxer motor they have is just been around forever, and it's going to be around forever. It's such a good
it was another car I had that it was up to about 250,000 before I died.
That's the same format engine that Porsche uses. Only 2 companies that use a boxer motor.
Are you saying the Vauxhall, the VAUX Hill, or HAL?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, Boxer, Boxer.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying Vauxhall, like the car brand in England. So I thought it was unique.
A boxer motor is a motor that the pistons are laid flat. They're on a flat plane, and the crankshaft is in the middle of 2 banks of cylinders.
I see.
Kitty, Dog's trying to prostitute you.
Oh, let's see here.
What now?
Oh, Christy. Hi, honey.
Hey, Christy. Yeah, Ox, one of the questions these days is what is an American car?
Yeah.
Because so many of them use parts from different countries, and isn't Chrysler now owned by a German company?
Yep.
Italian.
No.
Alfa Romeo.
Oh, then they must have switched again. Because
Yep.
they used to be
Yeah,
with.
I thought they had sold it again.
I thought they were BMW at one time.
No, never with BMW. They were with Mercedes for a while.
Mercedes, that was it. Because my grandpa for 40 years worked at the original Kenosha AMC plant.
BMW owns Mini Cooper company, Rolls Royce. Well, I'm not remembering who else.
Although, as far as American cars with my brother, there's a high probability we'll wind up with, something GM. I know that's what he leans toward. So, Chevy or a GM minivan.
Well, that was a loud car.
Toyotas are really good because they're everywhere and parts are no problem to get anytime.
But aren't
Well,
they more
that-
expensive to work on because they're foreign?
No,
Not anymore.
All cars, garages don't charge more for one brand or the other. They just charge more for anything. They're way overpriced nowadays.
Well, it's just a matter of, how available are parts. So, yeah, that's been one of my big criteria is, what's going to have reasonably low maintenance costs going forward, especially with an older car, because,
Well,
things are
let you
going
in
to
on
break
a
down.
secret.
It's inevitable.
Toyota and let's see who else was it? Toyota, Mazda, which is mostly Ford. Which one?
Well, it's
I think it was
fortunately,
Honda.
my
Our-
brother
our
has
three-
access to all that stuff.
Those three companies have so many cars here that the market is such that there's independents up the yin yang who are producing parts for them.
Yep.
And they're good quality parts. There's not just junk because it's an aftermarket part. I mean, there are aftermarket parts that are junk, of course, but there's a lot of really good ones. And a shop can get stuff overnight for not a lot.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them get free shipping overnight.
Oh, yeah.
So you stay with something that has lots. They've built lots of them, and you're much better off.
And that's what's
What-
nice about living in a bigger city is more parts available quickly. Instead of like where we're up in where before, where parts could take 2 or 3 days.
Well, also, since we are only like an hour and a half from Minneapolis, it helps.
Yeah.
Both Champion Auto and Napa, their regional distribution centers are in Minneapolis suburbs.
Yep.
So they have huge warehouses that they have most of the stuff on stock that, yeah, they can definitely get it here the next day.
Like I said, unlike where we used to live, where it could take 2 to 3 days. Thank goodness the body shop didn't charge us for storage while waiting for the parts.
Yeah. Where we used to live, we actually had a couple of occasions that the mechanic had said that they didn't even have time to order it, so I might as well go on Rock Auto and bring it in when I
Yeah.
get the parts.
Yeah, we've done that repeatedly.
Those kind of companies that are the companies that independent shops go to for their parts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Because they will give a better price to a shop than they will to an average
And then-
customer.
And then the shop will just mark it up to customer prices, so they make more profit.
Right. And no independent shop can stay open without making profit on parts. It just can't be
But
done.
this guy where we were he was really good. He
Well, yeah, because the other
he
thing
didn't
is
overcharge.
in a small town, you
Yeah.
live or die on your reputation. If he
So if
screwed
there was
one person
anything-
over, he could lose his business.
Yeah, if there was anything shady going on, one person heard about it, everybody heard about it.
the automotive market for an independent is really, really tough. It's
Yeah.
You're doing good if you make 6% markup at the end of the year.
In the town we lived in Michigan, there were 3 ways: you telephone, you telegram, and you tell your neighbor.
I like it.
And
Well,
that's how
it's-
things got around.
It's a big reason I knew that, I couldn't be out or do anything there. If I went on a date there, my mom would hear about it before I got home.
Yep.
So yeah, there was
She's
just
not
no
kidding.
way. Yep.
Oh, trust me, I made a fuss at a bar once, and she knew about it before I got home. You remember that?
Well, I only knew about it because I heard the people in the elevator talking about it.
I'm talking about when we went out to dinner at that place one night for Gail's birthday.
Yeah. Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, boom. People were calling her up on the phone. What the hell was going on with the outfit? Yeah. So yeah, telephone or tell your neighbor. Either way, it's
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, everybody was in everybody's business. Because that was
Nothing
also
was
the only kind of
private.
entertainment anybody had.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Christy
Nothing.
Santiago, when are you coming up to Minnesota to visit me?
And us.
Oh, Christy's coming to visit? Sorry, Christy, now you have to do it. I heard it on the internet, so it's got to be real.
This is my boyfriend. He's a French model. Bonjour.
Oh,
Who makes Chromebooks?
Google.
yeah.
That's four letters. Third one is E. Oh. Acer? Could be.
They might be the manufacturer for Google. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm doing a crossword puzzle while we're
Yeah.
talking.
I would not know.
Oh, I found out my granddaughter likes crossword puzzles too. So I just sent her that same subscription I got.
Doorknob evil makes. Yeah, I'd
makes
agree.
Chromebooks. Oh, that's the one thing when I was looking for a new computer, my son said, stay away from Chromebooks. You can get anything else, do not get a Chromebook.
Yeah,
Which
I can't remember hearing anything good about them.
Which why I know Chromebooks have to be cheap because they were the cheapest ones available. So yeah, it's like no.
Well, they're not even really a laptop. They're halfway
Yeah.
between a laptop and a phone. It's
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they're designed entirely
They're one
to
step
be a
up
web
from
browser.
they're one step up from a pad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
From a
designed to
tablet.
be a dedicated web browser, and they're
Yeah.
just anything else they do poorly.
And I need more than just a web browser.
Yeah, I'm sure they would not handle some of the games you play.
Oh no.
I am dying for a new computer.
Oh, speaking about games, are you still playing V Rising in Kitty?
Kitty.
Meow.
Meow meow. I think she's got headphones are off.
No, she's saying she's muted.
Oh.
Wait, what's she holding up?
She's on the phone.
Oh, phone.
Ah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. You're good.
Yep. Wait, back. Yep. So
Yeah, we got you.
I appreciate everybody making donations here for us. Let's see. Moving fund is now up to $1,780.
The car fund.
Good.
Yeah, we're a car fund. Sorry. Yeah.
And Kitty has offered just to send anyone a free nudes to anyone who'll pledge $1,000.
I think it's pretty impressive that we're up to a third of the goal when officially it hasn't kicked off yet.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, that's a good start.
Yeah. Godless Granny. besides running the stream last night, personally made the largest donations.
Oh, she
So-
can't afford that.
Yeah, that's what I thought too when she argued with me about it. So
Well, maybe she has moves we've never seen.
she said a bit about it on her stream last night. That they've managed to save up some money, so she's got a bit. But
Ah.
Well, you know, she's one of those rich Republicans.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh. That was terrible.
that's a low blow.
I would say that if she was here, that's
a lawn mowing simulator, huh?
what?
Oh yeah. They
You
have
mean
lawn
this
mowing
is a real
simulator.
thing?
Oh,
Oh
my
yes.
God.
Lawn mowing simulator. They have a farm simulator. They have a goat
Okay.
simulator.
Well, you know, that was my
Single goat
job in
simulator.
Michigan, so I don't see why anybody would play a virtual version of that.
Because it's a lot less hot and smelly.
Yeah, well, it's also like the truck driver simulator that, you know, that's a career. I don't see that as an entertainment.
Now, if they made a llama simulator, I would play llama simulator. Sloth simulator would just be way too boring. You log on once a week to go down and poop and climb back up.
Okay, now we've got to make that. Got to make a sloth simulator that just runs in a little, you know, a little window in the corner of your screen all week.
Yeah, run like a
And then once-
Tamagotchi almost.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
you got-
once a week.
We got a
Once a
Yandere
week you log in.
simulator.
What's that?
A Yandere simulator.
Yandere? What's that?
Yeah. Basically, the psycho girl who's totally obsessed with somebody and will kill everybody who gets in their way.
Ah,
Yeah. Doorknob head. I actually have a T-shirt of a sloth riding on the back of a turtle with his scarf floating in the breeze like it's a racetrack. It's hilarious. But everyone knew that sloths only come down from the trees once a week to poop.
Yep.
And then they go back up and hang out for a week. Their metabolisms are so slow, they actually grow a green algae on their fur that is specifically only to the sloth.
yeah. There's a species of algae that only grows in sloth fur.
So they
That-
always have
that's
a bit
pretty-
of a greenish tint to them.
That's pretty bad when you've been laying still long enough for a new life form to evolve on you.
I think it's amazing what nature does with some things. You know, to think that there actually is a creature like a sloth that is just so absolutely so weird in its behavior, how slow it walks and moves and everything. It's how does that
Or a
evolve?
platypus. Like, who the fuck invented a platypus?
Platypus.
I
What is
have
the
a
point of
story behind the platypus. The platypus was invented by angels on Friday at 4:20. They're like, oh shit, we got all these parts left over and we got to make
Yep.
something. And they finally put it all together. They bring it up to God for his approval. He says, I know. I can even do you one better. I can make it glow under black light and let's make it poisonous. And the angels are just looking at him like, what the fuck? That's my platypus story.
The naked mole
Yep.
rat put teeth on an old man's penis.
Yeah.
God, that's funny.
Well, look at what what a mole rat looks like.
Yeah,
I've never
Doorknob
heard that
had
There's the mega sloth.
Yeah, Doorknob had the problem with pooping in the tree is that sloths are hanging upside down.
Yeah,
So yeah, basically it would just
You'd
be on
shit
their own
yourself.
belly.
you'd shit yourself.
Yeah,
But you gotta tell them about the mega sloth.
yeah, Megatherum, the prehistoric sloths were no joke.
Yeah.
Megatherum was 7 feet tall, weighed over a ton, and they have actually found claw marks that determine that these things were digging caves into solid rock.
They
That
could fuck
they
you
would
up.
they would find like any little crack in the rock and manage to wedge their claws in there to rip hunks out of it.
I was like, they'd fuck you up.
Yeah,
They're like
I
Hans
mean-
and Franz. They could fuck you up.
Well, and their claws were like 6 or 8 inches long.
They're that
So-
long now. They're probably about 6, probably a foot long.
Oh, I guess I'll have to look it up.
Because I mean, sloth's claws even now are pretty huge. The 3-toed variety. I mean, if they were faster, they could kind of screw you up. Yeah, cracking a
Okay,
rock.
right.
Doorknob head. Do you know that when a sloth poops, it almost kills them?
How do you figure?
They said that it is such a strenuous thing for the sloth to do, it can practically kill them. They poop out
Now
these
that I
little
did not
square
know.
cubes.
Now
Okay.
that I did not know.
Megatherium's claws were only about 7 inches long, but they were much thicker.
And much stronger, obviously.
Okay, one of the things that bothers me is while I was trying to type that into Google and Google doing autocomplete,
Uh-huh.
at one stage it autocompleted with how long were megatheriums on the ark.
Oh, I'm scared.
It troubles me that came up, proving enough people have searched that question that actually came up.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What question?
How long were megatherium on the ark?
How long were what?
Megatherium, the
Super
giant
sloth.
sloth.
Oh.
Yeah,
How
the,
long were
the
they on the
one-ton
ark?
prehistoric sloth.
Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
Long enough that they were washed so many times they shrunk.
There you
That's
go.
a good answer. No, they accidentally threw him in the dryer. It was easy to catch him.
Gotta
Gotta catch him all.
over
Pokey
50
sloth.
over 50% of sloths die when they defecate. This is because most sloths climb down out of the protective trees to poop on the ground.
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't think that's so much that the effort kills them as it makes them
Yeah,
far
it makes
more
them- yeah, it
vulnerable
makes
to
them
predators
vulnerable.
while they're down there.
Vulnerable.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I remember the story, and they specifically talked about how strenuous it is for the animal to do his thing.
Well, it's-
Dig deeper.
Yeah, well, actually, there are caves in South America that basically all of the walls are entirely covered with the claw marks from the megatherium.
That would be interesting.
So, yeah, so they were definitely digging out those caves.
Have you ever seen
I think
those?
they're a little big to climb trees.
Have you seen those pictures of those caves in, I believe it is Mexico, that has these crystals that are like 8, 9, 10 feet
Oh,
tall,
yeah.
5,
yeah.
6 feet wide and shit?
And it's so
Yep.
it's so hot they can only be in scientists can only be in cool suits and still only be in there for like 20 minutes.
Oh, that I didn't hear. That's neat.
Yes, because
Yep.
it's so deep into the ground that it's actually getting heat from the magma.
Yeah, the geothermal heat.
The geothermal heat is so high, they have to wear cool suits and still can only be in 20 minutes.
Well, good. Then it keeps the riffraff out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Let's not let it become a tourist attraction. That's ruined too many natural wonders already.
That's like I saw this thing on YouTube about I was watching about Karens, and this group, a mom, dad, and their kids were in a national park carving their name on a rock, and they're like, "Well, this isn't vandalism because we're not spray painting on it." But still, you're carving your name into it. That's vandalism.
Yeah. Well, and when people do things like that, destroying natural wonders that took thousands of years for nature to form.
Yeah, Karen logic. Just
Yeah.
Well, I remember that case of I think it was father and 2 sons that there's some balancing rock out west.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yeah,
something like that.
actually, that was a Boy Scout troop, and the scout leader was encouraging them to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Jesus
Nice
Christ.
guy, huh?
Yeah, so much for teaching them about respect for nature, huh?
It's just insane.
And the guy that was confronting the people that were carving the rock was, well, haven't you heard about do no harm, leave less than you came with? Oh, yeah, it's next out. And their biggest thing is, well, we're not spray painting on it. It's like, idiot. Yeah, spray paint can be washed off. You know how long it's going to take for your name to erode off? Just,
Well, and if it's carved in, you actually have to be, reducing the rock itself to
Right.
get rid of that.
And then the erosion that it's going to take to get rid of it.
Yeah, you can't very well just go in, fill it in with spackle.
Or sandblast it.
Yeah.
It's just like, geez, people.
Did you? I know that. I believe it's. Well, science believes that it is the world's oldest tree, and I think they said it was a bristlecone pine or.
Yep.
Yeah, the bristlecone pine is the oldest tree in the world,
and they won't tell anybody where it is.
Yep.
Just because they don't want people to fuck it up.
Well, there was a tree in Africa, and it was a thing that was on a lot of postcards and things, because it's like it was literally just this one tree in the middle of the savannah that, it was like 50, 60 miles before there was another tree. And some idiot got drunk in a Jeep and ran it down. He rammed his Jeep into it and destroyed it.
Rodent, no
like
last
a dick
name.
Move.
The best way to freak somebody out is go get one of those plastic skeletons at Target during the Halloween. And when you're going to build a new deck, put the skeleton under your deck. Can you imagine when they tear your house down 50 years from now?
Oh, that's hilarious. And that's like a harmless prank.
That's a harmless prank,
Yep.
Well, actually, so there's a channel on YouTube that I watch that it's right up my alley because sometimes I just want something kind of lighthearted, and it's called The Click, and it's this Swedish guy, and he basically goes through posts and memes and stuff on different Reddits, and that exact thing was on a Reddit called r/found Satan, I think it was.
What, burying the skeleton?
Yeah, so it's basically playfully evil pranks to do to people. And
as long as you don't hurt them, then it's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as everybody's laughing, it's funny.
Yep.
A prank is not funny if the other person's not laughing.
Yeah.
No joke is funny if the other person isn't laughing.
Well, that's part of why I never much cared for April Fool's Day, because it's mostly, playing tricks on people who don't appreciate it.
The one that pisses me off the most is the fucking pregnancy or, miscarriage April Fools. Those send me up a fucking wall. I want to throat punch anybody who does one of those.
That's good, Rodent. I like that. When I have my carpet replaced, I can paint "Help Me" in blood red on the foundation.
No. Paint it with into a giant Ouija board and then get a Roomba and see if it'll summon Satan.
There we go. All hail.
I actually saw that they're selling area rugs that have the Ouija board.
I have pillows, pillowcases that are Ouija board, the blanket over here on my chair is Ouija board. I just got this from Marshall's for $16.
Cool.
And I was so excited.
One of my new cancer caps, Kitty.
Mm-hmm.
I made it in the Jack Skellington pattern, just like my knitting bag.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that fabric's available at Walmart. So
you can buy it by the yard. I just bought it in fat quarters because you only need 2 fat quarters for these chemo caps.
Yeah, for me, I just bought it, the 1 yard pre-cut of it.
Yeah, I
they
think
had
I'm gonna
1
send,
yard.
Next time I send purple, I'm gonna have them get me a 1 yard pre-cut.
Okay,
because I think that'll be popular.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I'm not just making them for me, I'm making them for everybody at the cancer center too.
And that's really sweet.
I've got more fat quarters than I can ever deal with.
And it was really nice. Yesterday was her first treatment, and one of the things is they did give her, a gift bag of things that'll help her get through it.
I get a prize bag.
Yeah,
Yay.
and there were
Hey,
a couple
doorknob
things in
head?
there.
I believe in the horseshoe crab they have green or blue blood. I think
Blue.
Blue.
Yeah,
Blue?
horseshoe
Yeah,
crab
it's
with
blue.
blue blood.
which is so fascinating to me.
And they
Oh.
regenerate. So
Yeah, they're and then there's a jellyfish that's functionally immortal.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Looking
Yep.
at the sloth thing, it looks like they only poop out once a week, and they lose about a third of their weight doing it,
Yep.
and they release it all at once.
yep.
That seems to be about all I can find on stressful wise.
So for anyone curious, I have I got a bunch of polyester batting on clearance, but it's
Oh,
like the
nice.
really thin kind.
Is that
And
what you
I
use
need the
inside
thick
mask?
kind. I need the thick kind for what I'm doing. So I basically just took and I'm piecing together multiple layers, and then I just ran a basting stitch around to kind of keep it as one piece, and I'm just kind of trimming it so it'll functionally be one thick layer as opposed
Right.
to like much tinier layers, because like this is one layer of the stuff compared to how much I have here. There's a lot more
Yeah.
layers.
Is that what you're
Um,
lining the masks with?
No, this is for something for my son's guinea pigs. Making them like a
Oh.
little like bed thing
see.
for them to
That's
snuggle up
okay.
in.
You sure that's not going to be a problem if they chew it up?
Oh, this will be inside.
You're making like a
and
bed.
yeah, it's
but
going
if
to be
they chew
sealed
Cage
through,
liner.
inside.
they're going to chew through whatever the outside is, though.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily. They
They're
don't.
guinea pigs. That's what they do.
I'm just saying, like, I've had other stuff that I've given them that they haven't chewed through,
Alright.
and I just have to keep an eye on it. But it's
Okay.
basically a washable, it's a washable pet bed, and I'm using the recommended materials that the guinea pig person who made the pattern made. So
And
Did you
I'm
know that
just-
there's a guinea pig rescue in California?
I did not know that.
Just a quick segue. You still gotta send me that mask pattern, Kitty.
Oh yes, shit. I need to get my printer working so I can try to scan it, because that's about the only way. I couldn't find like the original that I had, so I'll have to see if I can get my printer working. It's been not working lately, and it's been frustrating the hell out of me because I've got other patterns I've gotten that I want to print out, but I can't, and I'm like, fuck. So
Get a new Kitty a fundraiser. Get a new
no,
Kitty
no,
a
no,
printer
no, 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 no,
fundraiser.
no, no,
I'm
no, no, no,
teasing
no,
ya.
no.
I just teasing.
I mean, printers are pretty cheap too, especially around Thanksgiving. Like they become really cheap. With Black Friday sales, you can get a brand new printer for like $30. So
I just like to make masks to go along with my chemo caps.
oh,
So I
absolutely.
have matching ones.
Yeah,
I
you
like
gotta
matching ones.
accessorize. Like
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got to be fabulous.
I got no hair. I got to be fabulous.
Exactly.
And that's next week's treatment is the one that they get. It's called Taxotere, and that's the one that makes all the hair in your body fall off.
See, I wouldn't mind if it was only like from the neck down. Like I want the hair on my head. I don't want body hair anywhere else.
Purple was saying the same thing. It's gonna sure eliminate the shaving.
Yeah, if they could get rid of my facial hair without the stuff on top going.
But yeah, I'm gonna lose eyelashes, eyebrows, top hair, and carpeting.
Drapes and carpeting.
Yep, drapes and carpet. Yep. But they did say when it starts to grow back, it can come back in a different color. Or
Oh, that'll be a fun surprise.
Or it can come back curlier, or both.
That happened to my grandma.
Yeah, and
long as
hey,
it
it's a
doesn't-
surprise.
As long as it doesn't come back gray, I'm fine.
Hey, Slothgurl, have you seen those? I don't know exactly what they're made of or how they work. I've just seen it on TV and stuff. It's like a rubber stamp for eyebrows.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. No, thank you.
They look amazingly real.
Well, now I look at it this. The benefit of this is Purple and I can learn to do our eyebrows together. Just putting them in with pencil.
Mm-hmm.
So Purple and I can learn to do our
Silver
eyebrows
linings.
together.
It's
Silver
all
linings,
about finding
exactly.
the silver linings.
Always.
So
and as I was
side
saying about
part
the
is done.
fat quarters, is I have more fat quarters than I'll ever use before I die. So I might as well do something good for somebody else,
She's got so
Absolutely.
many fat quarters, we need to put them on a diet.
That was good.
That was good.
Oh, Doorknob, I agree with you on those guinea pig. They look really tasty when you fry them up.
See, my son
ROUS.
have pets. Like he's got 2 little guinea pig pets that he got for Christmas, and they're named Masha and Bear after 2 characters from his favorite cartoon show. It's like this Russian cartoon show where you've got like a forest full of critters, and
Right.
there's Bear, like, and he's got his little house with his tea set and his, sewing machine and everything. And you've got Masha, the little girl, who is a little brat. Like, she is kind of a little shit demon, like constantly running around and messing up Bear's stuff. And like, he can't talk, only she talks, but like, you can tell like he kind of emotes everything. Like when he's super frustrated with things, he's just like,
Mhm.
and it's adorable. Like it's really cute. It's called Masha and Bear. And so
and
that's what he
Rodent?
named his guinea pigs.
Rodent, I don't
Yep.
want to deal with the hassle of wigs on and off. But yes, there are good opportunities, but
And actually,
You'd only want to wear them in the winter because they are warm. I've
But-
worn cosplay wigs. They're hot.
but I knit, so having warm
Yeah.
hats is not an issue.
See, I
and
still
at-
need to learn how to knit.
I
at
already
the
know
cancer
how.
center, at the cancer center, they even have, like a support office there. That one of the things they offered was helping fit you for a wig.
Yeah. But I said I don't really want to wear. I don't want to deal with the hassle of a wig.
Yeah, no,
And-
I'm just saying I was quite
Yeah.
impressed by all the peripheral support services they offered besides.
I
just
even
the
get 10
treatments.
free acupuncture sessions. So I can find out if it really is woo or not. I'm going to take them up on it. Hey.
Okay, I
Yeah.
seem to. Oh, there it is. I was gonna say I lost my needle, and like my dumbass, I have a whole ass thing that I have for my
Ow.
needle. That it's a little kitty cat head with a suction cup on it, and
Lost
that
the whole
it's-
thing?
well, no, like I just had it over here, but it's a little cat head with a suction cup, so I can stick it onto the machine, or I've got it on my light, and then it's magnetic, so I can use it to pick up my needle, especially when it falls in this like little crevice here on the side of my table that I can't get it, like I can't get my nails in there.
Yep. Or
Hey,
you
that
know
would
what
be
else you
cool.
should get? Go to Dollar Tree and get one of those bingo wands. It's a great way to pick up missed pins, or if your pins fall on the floor.
I also have a pin tray that's magnetic, so
yeah,
I
but
can
they
just
don't always make it in there if you spill them on the floor. Just to
yeah,
get-
that's true.
get
Although
yourself
this
one
is
of those
pretty
bingo
good.
wands.
But
I like
Bingo wands
those ones that
great.
are a wristband.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have
Magnetic.
a
Those are
wrist.
cumbersome.
Well, I like
But
my
the
cloth
thing-
one for my wrist one. Like
Yeah.
the heavier, like the magnetic ones are really heavy. And
Oh, yeah.
so I'm not a fan. Like this little heart cloth one is all I need for my wrist. So I've got that. Then I've got a tray of pins, and then I've got my little kitty cat.
Perp has one
to
of those big,
section 'em up.
heavy-duty magnetic ones.
I got one of those tomatoes to put the needles in.
Yeah.
Goddamn thing rotted in a month.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Honestly, like I've had this for a couple years now, and it's still going strong.
Yeah.
Jenny,
I got it
Yeah.
for like
The best-
$8 on Amazon.
the best thing to use for a pin cushion is a bar of soap,
Really?
because the soap will actually help the pins glide in and out of the material better.
I'm sorry, a car went by. I didn't hear.
The soap will actually help the pins slide in and out of the fabric better.
Yeah, like lubrication.
Yeah.
That's a woodworking
like-
trick too. That actually, if you're putting screws in, if you rub the screws over a bar of soap, it has less chance of splitting the wood because they slide through the fibers easier.
Yep.
And
Hey,
Another-
Slothgurl, do you know things about? I mean, I know you're a knitter. No,
Yeah.
but do you know things
And
about
crochet.
sewing? Also,
Yeah, I sew
Oh
a bit.
yes,
do you know things like how they make
Alteration?
eyelets in fabric?
yes.
Purple knows how to do eyelets. You mean eyelets like the
For
metal
grommets?
grommet?
No, a pattern, lace-like pattern on a thing that's
No.
made of eyelets.
No.
Okay. Do you know how to put on sequins?
I've never done sequins.
I do, but I wouldn't. It's very fine work. And with
I've
my
tried to do
eyesight,
sequins, but I always get them out of order.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Purple.
but like I said, it's very fine work, and my eyes just aren't up for sequins and sequins and beads. I had to give up my beading stuff because I just can't do it anymore.
That was the
Between
next thing I was going to ask you is beading.
between the arthritis and the eyesight, I had to give up. I have a huge lot of beads in the storage locker that I'm going to just sell off as a mass lot.
Yeah, Slothgurl used to do.
Talk to me
things
about
like
that when you're ready to do that.
Oh, well, okay, if you're interested in it, yeah, they're,
And I'll
like I
take
said, right now
payments.
they're in the storage locker, and without a car, I haven't been able to get out there for several months to look at anything.
But like it's mostly like jewelry beading stuff.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I take payments. I trust you. I know where you live.
I want to make earrings and stuff.
I can send out my cousins
Okay. Yeah,
to
Slothgurl's
collect
got
the payment.
got
I'm
quite
half
a
Italian,
wealth of materials.
Hey, my grandmother's maiden name was Bovenzi, so I have a little Italian cred too.
Well,
She
I'm
was
half
half Irish, half Italian.
I'm half Polish, half Italian, so I'm a lopsided Polak.
Yeah.
That was always our big joke in the family, is we were the lopsided Polacks.
Fucking, I love Polish food.
Which side is Italian? My trunk. I have a very short, small torso. I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, let me see your spout.
Jesus Christ! I knew it was
I don't have a
coming.
spout.
Well, and
I wasn't
this
born
is
with
one
a
of the
spout.
things we've talked a lot about the way doctors view anyone who's overweight and blame all their problems on it.
Like the first oncologist I saw?
Yeah, this is one of the things that when I've gone with Slothgurl to the doctors, because she just has a very traditional Italian woman's build. It's like, the majority of women, the majority of women in Italy are like that. It's not necessarily unhealthy if that's the heritage you're from, and people have been like that there for thousands of years.
And that's like they always tell me I'm overweight. No, I've been the same weight for 20 years. Don't tell me I'm overweight. I'm not gaining weight. I'm not losing weight. Well, I'm going to be losing weight now, but great weight loss program. Terrible hair care program, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of hair care, Kitty, I got the hair care stuff that you had recommended.
Oh, good. Like my new shipment should be here within the next couple of days for mine.
Yep.
Like I said, I swear by the stuff, but again, everybody's hair is different. But like I and my sister have both had phenomenal results since switching to there.
I just got it, so I
What
haven't
is it?
even had a chance to wash my hair with it yet.
Function of Beauty. It's an online hair care thing where you can basically take it sounds like weird that you're taking a quiz, but you're basically filling in information of like what's your hair. Like for mine, I have a lot of it, but it's actually very, very fine.
That was mine too.
And my hair is also, very straight. Like the only reason it has any like movement to it here, like any slight curl, is because I fell asleep with a scrunchy bun. And like that's the only way that I get any like waves is if I have a scrunchy bun. Because when I come out of the shower, once I brush and comb my hair, it is like razor blade straight, unless I style it. And I also bleach my hair, so adding back some of the nutrients, and my hair has been in the best condition it's been in ever since using this product. And you can select your hair care goals, like if you want to help with lengthening or strengthening, which if you're going to do one, you should do the other. Like I would always say do lengthen and strengthen together, because it needs to be strong to grow. And you can also have moisturize. Like if you do bleach your hair, you can get a purple shampoo version, so it helps tone out the brassiness, so like the yellows, and you get more of that like white blonde hair. But there's tons, like there's scalp care if you have more of like
the
an itchy
website
scalp.
actually takes you through a short quiz about what kind of hair do you have, what's your scalp like, and what are your goals with it.
And I think that's really good because there's a lot of options. And if you're going in blind, you might not get what's going to work best for you. And like, that's the whole goal, is you're getting, somewhat customized hair care,
Well, that's the thing for me. It's like I didn't even understand what a lot of the products are supposed to do. So, it helped a lot.
You know, the
with
one
that.
thing I have always wondered about on hair care products is they say, oh, let's see, this is blah blah company for curly hair. Does that mean for existing curly hair, or that you want curly hair?
It's the texture of your hair is curly. So basically there's many different textures of hair, from straight to wavy to curly, which would be somebody that if they, you know, take a shower, wash their hair and don't do anything, it has like curls. Wavy would be like you kind of have like some stuff. It's not razor straight, but it's not like ringlet curly either. And then you get into like the more like coarser textures, and there's a whole range of different African hair types as well. So, you know, hair care really needs to be tailored to your specific needs, because someone who has curly hair, they're going to need stronger conditioning to help combat frizz and breakage, because curly hair is prone to breakage. Whereas if I were to use a curly hair formula, my hair would just feel kind of greasy and like it'd be kind of limp and heavy, because while I do need conditioning because I bleach my hair, I don't need the same kind of conditioning as someone with like more coarse or curly hair does, because it would just weigh down my hair and make it greasy.
Yeah, that's how I finally got purple away from using the mane and tail hair conditioner, because that stuff is so thick and so heavy.
Well, no. But the mane and tail stuff actually helped me when I lived in New York. But
Yeah,
I think,
but
you know,
Could also be the New York water.
that's what I was
Yeah.
going to say. I think there was a big difference in the type of water.
And water makes a difference. Like you can take and make the exact same recipe of New York style pizza. You take water from California, you take water from New York, and you take water from, say, North Carolina. You make it the exact same with the exact same ingredients at the exact same
the
time,
pizza's not
and
the
they will
same.
not come out the same, because it is about the water. Like to get true New York pizza,
The
you need to
bagels.
be in New York. Same thing with the bagels.
The bagels are never the same unless you get them from New York.
They can still be good. They can still be
Yeah,
passable, but they
they're
are not the
as
same.
good as.
Hey,
Well, that's like
Ox's
that's
question.
like making chocolate ice cream. You can buy chocolate ice cream, or you can buy vanilla and mix the chocolate syrup in. You have to do it the second way, because the first way is just not the same.
Ox, your question. Hair is not dead matter. Hair is made out of keratin, which is the same thing your nails are made out of, or the horn of a rhinoceros,
Or the claws of a sloth.
Yeah, and
It
there's
needs
an
nutrients
anatomy
to
to a hair shaft. There's a core, there is an outer layer, and then a second outer layer. And various chemicals will do different things to that matter, because it's, you know, it's just physical stuff, and so chemicals will affect it.
Well, also a big part of it is, you know, what you're putting onto your scalp while the hair is growing, so that, you know, it's affecting the hair follicles as the hair grows out.
And you have to remember your hair has natural cycles. You have a growing and like a pause and a shedding cycle.
And then there's other things like the kind of comb or brush type situation you have. I only recently switched to from
a natural bristle.
No, to just a basic comb with very wide teeth.
See, I prefer using brushes that I like the little plastic teeth to help with detangling, but they also have to have boar bristles as well, because that helps with, you know, shine, and it helps to smooth out your hair, and it's transferring the natural oils that your hair needs from your scalp down the shaft, and it's, you know, your hair does better. And so it's like $10 at Walmart for this brush, and it has natural boar bristles.
Let me give her a look.
Yeah, no worries. It has natural boar bristles, and it also has these very flexible plastic ones that help with detangling, because my hair tangles easily because it's so fine, you know, like it just, the hair needs to wrap around itself, and then you have a knot. But
it's called wet.
Well, I've got one that just has the plastic bristles like that.
But they make them with the boar bristles at the bottom.
Yeah, I hadn't seen them with them combined.
Yeah, this is I love this brush. There's also another one, actually. Let me go get it, because I have one other.
Wet? Okay.
Yeah.
Wet is the brand on the handle.
Yeah, it's the wet brush, and they sell them at Walmart. But I'm gonna go get my other brush because I have two different brushes I primarily use. I use that one and then this other one. So let me go grab it.
Ox, I wanted to redefine something. I said, your hair is not dead matter. It is a product of your hair follicle. It's not dead because it never was alive. It's just
the only part of your hair that's dead are the ends, because they dry out and die.
no. That's basically the whole hair is made out of that. The ends break because they dry out and stuff, but they're still the same
Right.
as the
So
stuff
if they dry out, aren't they dead?
Yeah.
It was
Well,
never
no,
alive.
they're not dead. It's just the material is changing.
Well,
It's
So
just
it's
unalive.
they can't be dead because they were never alive.
Oh, I get your point. I
And
get your argument.
your hair, just like how your nail has a cuticle, your hair has a
Yep.
cuticle.
Yep.
And you want the cuticle closed because that is when your hair is in its healthiest state. You won't, like, basically split ends are when your cuticle is just kind of lifted and kind of shredded, and you can see it under a microscope. Like healthy hair strand, you'll see a
Yep.
closed cuticle, but then for dead split ends, you'll see an open one.
Yep. They'll be kind
So
of frizzy at the ends.
then this is the other brush that I use. I need to clean it, but I like this one for when I get out of the shower, when I need to do the most detangling, because it has these like little, like, all of these are flexible, so you can really get it up to your
yeah,
scalp.
cool.
And it feels nice when you brush your hair with it too. But so all these little fingers here are flexible, and it also has soft bristles, plastic bristles, but it
Right.
also has the boar
Yeah.
boar hair. Like
Okay.
I recommend anybody use
Okay,
a
I'll
brush
have
with
to look
boar's
for one
hair.
of those next time.
Yeah,
But
I
not
got
all
both
of
of them
hair
at
is so
Walmart.
fragile. I finally decided that I use a brush and the brush gets filled up with crap so fast.
Well, I mean, your hair is
I
going to be
decided to try
shedding.
one of these broad tooth combs, and it
Yep.
pulls and breaks hardly any out.
The other trick, Jenny, to it is don't brush or comb your hair while it's soaking wet. Let it dry out a while. Because
Or if you're going to do it when wet, just use a wide tooth comb to get out the
Yeah.
main tangle.
because if it's wet, it's very stretchy and very pliable and can break more. I learned that growing my hair out for length is I don't wash it a lot. There have been times I only wash my hair once a month.
Yeah,
And when
that's
I
the other
do
thing I've learned about hair
when
is if you don't wash it every day, you don't have to wash it every
because
day.
you build up the natural oils.
Yep.
And when I do wash it, I wash the scalp and just kind of let the shampoo run down the long parts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's what kind of ruined mine, is that when I was doing the landscaping in Michigan, I had to wash it every day just because I was getting so many allergens in my hair. I couldn't sleep at night if I didn't.
Right.
But I think that really destroyed my hair.
I forget what the chemical is, the bad chemical for your hair that's in shampoo.
Alcohol.
It starts with a P.
But a lot of shampoos have alcohol in them too, which is very drying.
Well, and that's a thing. Like, a lot of people shampoo their hair way too much.
Oh yeah.
For in between shampoos, like, you can, use
There's a
a
dry
little bit of
shampoo.
conditioner as if you're going to shower, you can use a little bit of conditioner instead of a shampoo. It is not as stripping as
Right.
a shampoo is.
I only condition the ends of my hair.
Yeah, no. It depends if you have an oily scalp, only it's condition the ends.
Yeah, otherwise
the
it'll
other way
build up at
around.
the top. Yeah, if you have a drier scalp, like me, I have more of like a dry to like combination scalp, so
Yep.
I just condition my whole head. But I only wash my hair twice a week, and like that's like the perfect range for me. Like, unless I do something and I get really sweaty, like if I'm like outside, doing something and like I get where I feel filthy, then I might,
You kidding? Another thing I've learned by accident. If you're going to be on the schedule of as seldom as you can to wash your hair, like I'm up to about a month, I can go.
Yep.
is get your head stuck out in a rainstorm.
Oh, rainwater's fabulous.
Oh, it is unbelievable, and it's wonderful. It's just wonderful. That's all I can say.
Well, for you, yeah, but
Yeah.
here we're gonna get a lot of acid rain.
That's what I was
because of
gonna
the
say.
city.
The rainwater's gonna mirror a lot in the area you live in.
Well, and like for me, like my scalp will get really dry and itchy if I don't shampoo twice a week. Like,
I wonder if you could rinse it like distilled water.
I mean, maybe, you know, but honestly, like I said, I'm happy with where my hair is. Like I have so
It's
much
very
of it, and
pretty.
it's always like growing in more. Like I just recently got a haircut, because it was kind of boring. It was just kind of like blah. So I wanted to give it a little bit more like dimension. So I've got, you can't really tell because I didn't style it, but I basically have these like face framing layers so that if I use a round brush and a blow dryer, you'll see it just kind of curve under my chin.
Hey,
But it's
Perp,
also something I can pull in a ponytail and not worry about.
Hey, Perp, I'm glad I didn't spend that $125 on the dye job I wanted.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Remember, I wanted that rainbow dye job.
Spend it on my dye job that I want.
I wanted I wanted just the under layers of my hair along the back in a rainbow, so that when
I
I
have
put
yet
it
to
up,
do a rainbow.
So when I put it up, you could see the rain, or I twisted it. It had rainbow twists in it.
I would love to do that before my 50th high school reunion this month.
But they wanted $125 because they'd probably have to, because I have such dark hair. They'd have to
to bleach it first
twice and then dye it. And I'm like, no, that's okay. I don't have that kind of money to waste on my hair, and it's bad for your hair anyways. So
you should.
I've been thinking
if you can avoid it.
Ammonium sulfate, that's the stuff that's bad on your hair.
Yeah, perms are terrible for your hair. Like they actually chemically like break down your hair and basically change its properties like chemically.
They soften
it's kind
it
of
up.
like chemo for hair.
Yeah. But no, like if you can avoid it, you should never like bleach the same hair twice. So it's like I have bleached hair, but I only ever bleach the new growth. I don't put bleach on the ends, and that's why my hair is able to maintain its health, you know, because it's bleached. It's high lifted bleach, but
Jenny, Ox says it's polyethylene glycol.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Well, you know what polyethylene glycol is? Antifreeze.
Yep.
A type of antifreeze.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, like don't even get me started though, because like I mean, I vape and there's propylene glycol in here, which is not the same thing. But I lost so much respect for the Mayo Clinic, not only because when I went there for treatment for my condition, they basically were like, we're going to take you off all of your meds and just like pray. Like that is literally what they told me to do. Pray and don't think of your pain. And I'm like, excuse you?
Pardon
me? Like, don't think of the P word. And
excuse
fucking
me?
P word. Like pain. You can't think of pain. And
You
you've got to
can't ignore
exercise
it.
while withdrawing from your medications.
Assholes.
Yeah, so that was a bad experience, you know, with that. But, you know, it was like, okay, whatever. It was one guy, like, who cares?
Well,
it
that's
might
like-
not be all of them. But then
That's like the first oncologist, gynecologist that I saw for the bleeding problem I had before I was diagnosed with cancer. It was like he just blamed it all. Oh, you're just fat. Lose some weight. We'll hook you up with a dietitian, and all your problems will go away.
Yeah,
That's
how that
unfortunately
works.
true everywhere in the medical business.
I looked at him and like, are you fucking serious? Not only are you going to tell me it's all in my head, but you're going to body shame me, and you're an oncologist? I said,
Yeah,
I
it's
just looked at him
fucked
like,
up.
are you out of your
It's like,
fucking
even
mind?
if you are overweight, that doesn't change the fact of the matter. You can still get fucking cancer. Hello?
Yeah, well, this was before we knew it was cancer. This is just
I'm
to
just
get
saying,
the
like, it's-
hysterectomy done.
It's dismissive, you know,
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
it's like acting like people who are, you know, like
It
have a
took me-
higher BMI, you know,
And now
can't get
see, and
cancer.
the thing is, if he'd have treated me better, I would have had my hysterectomy 6 months sooner.
And it might
Yeah.
not have metastasized to your lungs.
Right.
Well, or
But
if it
because
did,
he
they
was-
You
would
might have a
thought-
malpractice suit on your hands.
But
I would
because
look into
he was
that.
such a jerk, It took
Yeah.
me 6 months to go back and see somebody else because I didn't trust anybody there.
Well, and even if it didn't get before it metastasized, at least they would have caught it much earlier.
Cost me
'Cause
6
they
months
would've-
sooner,
Yeah, they would have done follow-up CT scans after that.
and I would have dealt with this 6 months ago instead of now.
Yeah.
But it's just
Well,
like,
and the growths wouldn't be nearly as big.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I do think that you might have a case for malpractice.
yeah, but I didn't say anything at the time, which I should have. I should have sent a letter to someone saying that this is what he did. This is how he treated me.
Well, it certainly would be worth,
Yeah.
putting up
Looking into
letters
at least.
now. Yeah,
It
at
would.
least make the administrators of that clinic aware
So
of
maybe he won't
what
hurt
happened.
somebody else.
Yeah, because it's not just about you. Like, and don't take that the wrong way, but like
Oh no, I understand.
other people could die because of
Right.
his ignorance.
Other
I had
fat
a-
women could
I
die.
had a run
for
in.
the same
I had a
reason.
run in with a surgeon. It was a BMI issue, and he just treated me like dirt. And I complained
Yeah.
to people in his department, and the dude got censured or whatever they call it, and was no longer working there. That's-
Well, with my late fiance, for 3 years, they kept telling her they weren't going to do anything because of her weight. And when she finally got a doctor to actually run some tests, they found out that all of her pain for 3 years had been because she had fibroids on her uterus.
My mom,
But it's like they weren't even willing to run a scan to find out if there might have been a problem.
like something similar happened. My mom's overweight, and she'll even say, "Hey, I'm a fat ass," like
I'm a potato.
yeah. So it's
That's the way
like
I call myself. I'm a potato.
my mom is overweight, and she had cancer, and it started with her going to the hospital because she had blood in her urine, and she was
Yeah.
having incredible pain. And they're like, oh, well, they tested her urine, and they're like, all right, it's a UTI. They sent her home with antibiotics.
Yep.
Then she goes back after finishing the course of antibiotics to see the doctor, and is like, it hasn't gone away. And they're like, all right, here's more antibiotics. Third time she goes back, and she was like, it still hasn't gone away, and it feels or seems like I'm peeing
Feces.
poop. Like, and the doctor's like, that's not possible. You're out of your mind, basically. You're crazy. And they were going to send her home with just more antibiotics. And my dad put his foot down. He was like, no, absolutely not. You are going to do a CT scan. You're going to check her abdomen. We are not leaving until you do that. Because my dad advocated for her, they did do it. And then they realized, oh shit, we need to get her in for emergency surgery because she has a cancerous fistula connecting her bladder to her colon.
Yeah. And that's why I've become a very staunch advocate for myself. Because perp isn't real confrontational. But me, I'm like, I'm so sick of this shit. I want answers, and I want them now. And if you can't answer it, you get somebody in here who can answer it. My biggest issue right now with my new oncologist is that he's from Jordan. And I don't always understand him very well. That's
Yeah,
why
he's got a thick accent and he talks quite fast.
So I try to slow down, explain that to me again, or write it down. Because I don't want to
his
miss.
nurse comes in with the built-in megaphone.
Oh
That
my
woman
gosh,
can't
she's
seem
so
to understand
loud.
that in small rooms you need to lower your volume.
She's so loud.
A
I mean,
megaphone.
I'm sure they're probably used to dealing with older people with hearing problems, but
Yeah. No,
oh,
I'm
the
just joking,
echoes.
Mage. I mean, it's just her natural voice. But
Mm.
when you're in a small
soccer
room,
mom voice.
yeah, when you're in a small room that has no soft surfaces, everything will boom in there.
Oh, I had a teacher that was like that.
And she's
And
got soccer mom voice,
Oddly
always
enough-
hearing.
oddly enough, this teacher was like, a flannel, little shirt, blue jeans, driving around a truck. Years later, I ran into her again, and she was in a flowery dress and a straw hat and speaking very softly.
Well, that's like, the artist Bob Ross. The reason he spoke so softly and quietly on his shows is because he was in the army and he was a drill instructor who had to yell at people all the time. And he said, I'm not going to live my life like that.
Yeah.
I can't
we be
stand
like-
Bob Ross.
Oh,
Hey,
Hey, everybody's allowed to have their own opinion.
yeah,
I
you're
don't like
allowed
him.
your opinion.
He
But,
drives me nuts.
why?
Oh,
With all his
what's
happy
not to
little
like
opinions?
about him?
When he does that drying off of his big wide paintbrush
Oh,
on
I
the
love
leg
that
of his
part.
easel,
Drawing off the brushes.
it goes right through me.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
It's like nails on a blackboard. I cannot stand it.
Well, you know those happy little accidents and putting the trees. That's where he buries all the bodies.
Hey,
When he
we're
leaves
at
in the-
we're at 2.5 hours here. You know.
Wow, we are. I never get tired of talking to you lovely people, especially now that I got nice headphones.
Yep.
Delicious hamsters.
Well, I'm gonna get going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right. Well, maybe we should just wrap it up here.
Yep.
Chat, you've
Okay,
been
well,
wonderful today.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody being here, chat participating. And of course, very appreciating everyone who's been donating to our fundraiser.
Yeah.
And I understand that a lot of the people in our community are as broke as I am, but if you can repost the link, if you can help boost the signal, we really appreciate it. Because I know I've got a tiny audience. We need to get out in front of more people.
$1, $2, $3, that helps too.
Yep.
Every little bit helps. If you normally
Like,
get a Starbucks coffee on the way into work,
I was
just
gonna
skip it
say,
one day.
Like Granny said that last night. You're gonna buy your $4 Starbucks coffee? Donate it instead. Make your own coffee.
Well, and I get the meaning behind that, but that has become, like such a cliche for, entitled people trying to tell people on a budget how to live. That I've
Yeah,
really
it's
gotten
like,
to
oh,
hate it.
just don't get your avocado toast in Starbucks and don't have an iPhone if you're poor. And it's like, if you can't afford a computer in this day and age, you need some sort of internet. So at least for the
Bitch, I
phone,
don't have an iPhone.
I
I got a
take
cheap ass phone.
Yeah.
I take huge exception when people do that iPhone trip because I have an
it's
iPhone
fucking
too.
poor shaming. Like I have
All
an
the
iPhone.
iPhones
Technically,
I've
I
ever
have two
had.
iPhones.
I bought.
I have my
used.
old one that it is essentially an iPod Touch now because it doesn't like have a data plan or anything. I use it basically for playing some games and stuff. So but this was my old phone, and then I was due for an upgrade, so I got a new phone with a better camera because I have memory issues. I forget things, and I have a child, and so I want to take pictures and videos so that I can preserve those memories, even
Like
if
I
they
said, it's
fall out my head.
Plain out poor shaming.
Yeah,
the guys
no,
are just
absolutely, it
assholes.
is.
I have always bought used iPhones for significantly less than what they retail at.
Yep.
And the current one that I have, I did buy new, but it was only because my sister-in-law came into a bunch of money and she gifted it to me.
Yeah.
The only
that's
reason I
same
can
with me,
afford an
that-
iPhone is I do it on the payment plan through AT&T. Like I have AT&T as my provider, and I pay them like
Poor thing.
$30 a month. I know, right? But I pay them like $30 a month for my iPhone, and then at 18 months, the phone is paid off, so I get to keep it and I can continue using it. And then if I decide I want to get a new one, I do the same thing. I pay $30 a month. And that's the only way I can afford an iPhone. I can't go pay, the fucking retail price for this in one go. I just can't.
Well, I've always bought reconditioned phones because you save a lot of money on them that way.
I mean, it's pretty bad when your phone costs more than your computer does.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, we're going to wrap up here. Mage, have you got anything coming up you want to plug?
Just probably going to be doing another garden tour pretty soon.
Nice spinach video, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, how long did it take you to untangle the plant off the spinach?
A few minutes.
Okay.
Sorry, didn't mean to
anything
interrupt.
else? Yep.
That's about it. I was actually working on in a couple of videos earlier this morning, so I'll probably have one on Biden's Alba.
So watch the space.
Yeah, which gardens happen.
Okay, yeah, if you want to throw a link in the side chat there, but as usual, while we were going, I was making sure that everybody's links will be in the description when this posts to YouTube.
Yeah, but what about sausage links?
I mean, I prefer like the maple breakfast sausages, like
Yeah.
the brown and serves. Like I fucking
Ugh,
love those
yuck,
things. I need a
no.
whole ass box of them.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm spoiled rotten though, because when we lived in Michigan, there was a local company called Otto Meyer, and they made the absolute best breakfast sausages ever. Every time we go up north, I import like 3 pounds of sausage.
That's great. I remember once when I was in middle school, we took a school trip to Washington, D.C., and it was a week-long field trip. And we actually spent part of it in Amish country. And so we went to a place and we actually sat down,
And
with
what, to make
Pennsylvania Dutch
sausage?
and had, no, we had a meal with them. And the
Oh.
sausages were so fucking good. Like I'm picky about my sausages.
It's because they don't put crap in them.
It was so good. And everybody was devouring them. And me, I'm an asshole and I wanted more for myself. So I wondered aloud, I wonder if these are natural or synthetic casings. Considering where we are,
Natural.
probably natural. And someone's like, what's the difference? Well, synthetic are man-made and natural are cleaned out intestines.
Yep.
Nobody touched the sausages after, and I got to eat the rest all myself.
There's a valid joke in this.
It was
Way
so
to go
good.
eating this.
But, like, hey, you know what?
A lot of sausage outer casing that is artificial, as they say, is actually made
Plastic.
out of it's made out of collagen.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Basically, the stuff your fingernails are made out of.
No, that's keratin.
No, that's keratin.
Collagen
in
is
your
what your
skin.
connective tissues are made out of.
They basically boil
don't have very
down
many
like
of those
connective. They basically take like bones and like sinew and like
Yep.
they boil them down to
And
get
then
them.
the scum off the top of it's collagen.
Isn't that what they also use for making gelatin?
No, that's actually gelatin.
Like gelatin is made from like animal hooves, I believe.
Yep.
Like boiled down. And
Yep.
then like if you're making tonkatsu ramen broth, you're using like pork backs and pork trotters and like some chicken bones and stuff, and you're tossing it in a pot and you're cooking it like
For
low
hours
and
and
slow
hours
for
and hours.
12 to 14 hours, and it all breaks down. Then you strain it out. Then you have this milky, creamy broth because like that, all the goodness from those bones just gets seeped into it. It is so
All the
good.
marrow.
Kitty, have you ever had chitlins?
I have not.
No.
And how do you prepare a kidney? It's easy. You boil the piss out of it.
I have had
Don't tell
liver
Diana
once.
that
I
joke.
wasn't a fan. But like I will try just about anything once. But there are some things that I'm just like, I don't know.
I draw the line at chitterlings and okra.
Oh,
see, I don't mind okra, but I like pickled
I
okra.
don't like it's a texture thing. Okra
The
is
fuzzy,
slimy.
like the fuzzy, yeah.
Fuzzy, slimy. Yeah, I draw the line at okra.
It's
when
like
you put
bananas.
when you put okra in your vegetable soup, you don't have any slime.
And
'cause it
bananas
just
too. Yeah, I don't
disperses
like
in the whole recipe.
I don't like bananas straight. I like them
Yeah.
like banana bread.
Banana bread. I'll have them in cereal or smoothies,
even
or
then,
I have to have something wet with it because it feels
sliminess
so
is just-
dry.
ugh. I find
But,
it
yeah.
slimy.
No, for me, it's like a dry texture, and I'm not like it has to be like either in cereal or a smoothie or like a banana split. But like I do not eat bananas just plain. Can't do
Oh,
it.
doorknob head. That's a funny coincidence. Purple just bought me a new pepper mill.
Oh, nice.
My bananas are almost ripe.
Because
I
I have
actually gotta come down.
I had a very small pepper mill, and it kind of gotten dropped too many times. It actually, when you turn it upside down, it looks like a rabbit.
Yeah, well, that one was also like 8 years old because I brought
Yep.
that one back with me from New York.
And it's been dropped a couple of times, so it doesn't function as well as it used to. But he bought me a beautiful new glass and brushed steel topped pepper mill. I can't wait to use it. It's just a little too big for what I need.
I'm going to take off. You guys don't know how to be quiet.
Yeah. This signing off part hasn't been working real well. Jenny,
See y'all
Jenny, do you
later.
have
Love
any
y'all.
last words or anything?
Just your show tomorrow at 10:30.
Well,
10
10
o'clock.
p.m. Yeah,
10
10
p.m.
p.m. Central.
Oh, that's why I'm always a half hour late. And maybe I'll.
Fashionably late.
I
You got to
I
be the
don't know if
fashionable bitch.
if the Beck's fundraiser is going on this weekend, but I was going to try and be part of that if I can.
No, Beck had kind of overlooked that this was Memorial Day weekend, so has postponed the fundraiser to the following weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, then I won't be doing that. I'll just be sleeping.
Lucky you.
I
Get
didn't
some for
sleep
me,
at all
too.
last night, and I'm
Me
feeling
either.
it.
Just the headache from the steroids is just killing me.
I just could not fall asleep. So I watched a ton of YouTube videos lying in bed.
Well, see, because when you have the chemo, you have to have steroids with it to help them work better.
Hmm.
And this next
They also trash your immune system just like the chemo does. So
but this
that's fun.
second week that's coming next week, I have to take one before. I'll get one during, and then I have to take one after. So this is gonna be a week-long headache.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because one pill will take me about 3 days to get out of my system. So I'm dying already.
Yeah.
So I have a Cricut machine and I have iron on vinyl. I could totally take that taco dirty to me thing and make it into a t-shirt for you.
I'd love that.
All
that
right.
and can you make those metallic stick-on ribbons?
Stick on ribbons?
The magnetic ones.
Oh, magnetic. Yeah. I have vinyl and I can just get some flexible, cuttable magnets.
Because I want some purple zebra magnets.
Yes, I love the zebra ribbon, because some people have diagnoses that, it is a zebra, not a horse.
Yep, I'm a zebra. Because my
zebra
6 in a million for zebras, and then the leiomyosarcoma color is purple. So
I'm pretty sure I can make that work. I'll tool around in my software, and I think
I'd like
I can
to
make that
one
work.
for the car, and I'm sure that I could get you some business. I could have business thrown your way to make some more.
Yeah. For the car, for our car, rather than a magnetic one, I would like just the vinyl that we can put on the window.
Yeah, stick on the window.
Although, what I would actually like is putting the adhesive on the face so that we put on the inside window.
Yeah.
Because it'd be a lot more weather resistant.
Yeah, but it would be harder to do that because you're not like the vinyl itself, like permanent vinyl. It has the adhesive already on it on the back.
We could just tape over it with packing tape, right?
Yeah. Well, I just want it to look good, but
just tape it up with packing tape.
Just especially with our winters around here.
I can just make you a few of them.
Fray very easily.
Okay, I will just make several of them, and I will just, I'll make you like half a dozen or a dozen of them and send them up, and I'll make sure, I'll make sure to put transfer tape on all of them so that when you do go to put it on whatever you're going to stick it on, you would basically just peel up the transfer tape and it would have that vinyl ribbon on there, and then you smooth it out on a clean surface. I do recommend wiping it down with 90% alcohol first, just to make sure there's and you'll get the best bonding that way. But yeah, I can do that.
What you should always do is, first wipe it down with a mild cleanser like a dish soap or laundry detergent, and then wipe it down with alcohol for the alcohol to remove all the soap residue.
Even a baby wipe before the alcohol would, those are actually really gentle and they're really good at cleaning. Like the cutting mats for my Cricut machine, when they start to lose their tackiness, you just grab a baby wipe and you wipe them down and then let them dry, and it will return the stickiness. Maybe not 100%, but it gives you more life out of it rather than throwing it away.
I would have thought that with the baby mats, there might be some other things on there like skin conditioner or something.
Baby wipes are meant to be very, very gentle,
Yeah,
some of them they put skin conditioners.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Aloe
being gentle, they may have things that could prevent the adhesive from adhering as well.
Yeah, I haven't had an issue with the baby wipes that we use in the house because I love keeping them on hand because my son freaks out when his hands get sticky. So being able to
Right.
just grab some baby wipes and clean it
Mhm.
up and, you're good to
Eh,
go. Plus
it
making
works
sure
for ya.
he's fully clean after going number 2, using baby
Oh.
wipes cleans much better than
yeah.
toilet paper.
Well, Ox says I make clear sheets double-sided adhesive, so I could just order some of that and put it on
Yeah,
from
there you
inside
go.
the window.
Yeah, no, that could work. And then just leave I could actually what
And like
I
I
could
said,
do is to make it a little bit sturdier, like the adhesive that comes on the vinyl, I could stick to like a thin cardstock. So then it's got a little bit more
Mhm.
structure to it. And then you put the clear double-sided adhesive
Well,
on the
as long
front
as
and
it's
stick
not
it on the
too
inside.
stiff, because none of the windows are ever flat. They've always got a
Yeah,
bit
no,
of a
it would
curve,
be a
so
thin cardstock.
yeah, you just
like
gotta make sure that's gonna bend easily to,
question for you,
conform to
Kitty.
the surface.
yes.
If I show these off on my on the cancer site the support group that I'm on Facebook, will you be able to make them in bulk?
Maybe. I
'Cause
have a
I'm sure-
lot of projects that, are in line.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot that I have to get done.
Because I'm sure there'll be people wanting to buy them.
I can try my best.
Okay. I can also say limited number available kind of thing.
Yeah, that would be easier. And
Oh.
then I can always, do
Yeah.
a second batch later when I have less projects like on my plate because
Right.
I have this to finish and
The
then
masks.
I have a few other bags that I have to do. And
I
then
know.
my mom
I can-
asked me to make a quilt. Like my aunt's husband died. He committed suicide.
Oh.
And it was a few years ago now. It's been like 5 or 6 years. But she was finally ready to get rid of all of his old shirts. And my mom took them and then she did a cross stitch thing of like the suicide awareness ribbon. And it's like,
neat.
kind of thing. And so she wants me to turn them all into a quilt. So that is
Yeah,
going to
a
be like
t-shirt
a
quilt.
big project. And I need it done by Christmas. So like I have
yeah.
smaller projects I'm trying to get done now. And then I've got the big project that is going to take me, a lot more time making that quilt.
And how about this?
Okay.
You send me them and I'll start advertising them when you
Okay.
have more time.
Okay, that'll work.
Let
Yeah,
me know
this
when
stuff-
you have more time to make them.
This stuff we can do private chat, okay?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
absolutely.
Trying to wrap up
Sorry.
here. Kitty,
Sorry.
do you have anything coming up? Are you going to be?
I will be streaming on Twitch either today or tomorrow for a little bit. Might be doing it a little bit later today. I might take a break from the sewing because my back's hurting. And on TikTok, now that I have 1,000 followers plus, I can do live streams on that. So I was actually thinking about doing a sewing live stream
Nice.
over the weekend. Just kind of a thanks for
Okay.
getting me to 1K, and I'm just gonna make something and let's have fun.
Okay, yeah, I was just checking, and yeah, I do have your TikTok and your Twitch links in
Perfect.
here. So, okay.
You're so good to me. I appreciate you.
Actually, for the most part, we need to thank Amiga Nuts for maintaining the list with everybody's links in the community.
Yep. Thank you, Amiga
Yes,
Nuts.
thank you.
You're a hero.
So,
Yes.
it's just when I get somebody new on my show that doesn't show up in the list, I just send it to him for the next update.
That's amazing. Like you make sure that everybody gets their flowers, that everybody,
Yep.
gets the eyeballs.
Gets their love.
Well, and just that, if anybody's been in the stream, even if they don't have a YouTube channel, I try to at least get the Twitter link in there.
Mhm.
So if somebody in the audience has a question about something they brought up or something that they'd rather ask privately rather than it being public.
Absolutely. No, you really are a pillar of the community. Like it is like a multi-circle Venn diagram, but you're in the center and it's great.
Hey, Jen, we were just wrapping up here. So I was just about to go into the spiel of,
Hey,
I
didn't
appreciate
ask me.
everybody who's been supporting me, and I appreciate Ox being here, taking care of a lot of the moderation for us. And of course, all the Patreon subscribers. Skits Crasher has been a major subscriber and, sending me something on PayPal every month, as well as donating to the fundraiser for the car. Kitty here, of course, Robert X, the Lavender Lady, Greg Hartwick, who has also been very generous to our community. Every time there's been a fundraiser, he's been in there donating something for it. And Dog, hoping you're recuperating well. I know you're in pretty rough condition there, but hoping you're getting better. And Vonrek. So with that, I will be back here tomorrow night at 10 p.m.
Peace out and stay hydrated.
Okay. And bye-bye all.